What's up, everyone? Welcome to another podcast. Saga of Dice, Age of Sigmar, R and D. We got the D back in the R. Wait, nope.
No.
Redo. Wait, I can't. It's live.
Too
It's
late.
live.
Too late.
Oh,
There's
dear.
nothing you can do.
That's
we failed already.
Oh, that's gonna leave a mark.
It's alright. You did it. Not
We're
me,
very yeah. At least that's something. We're very lucky. We've got another couple of awesome guests. Some might remember Erik from the sportsmanship show we did 2 weeks ago. Fresh off his win for
I was against it, for the record.
yeah. It's true.
That was a what?
I was against it.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Sportsmanship.
But so we got Erik back with us, and today we've got, for the first time ever, Matt Beasley. Welcome, Matt. Clap, clap, clap,
Hey.
clap, clap. We're going to be talking about a little Tzeentch, also known as Tzeentch, also known as the Changer of Ways. Awesome, really funky book. But first, as is traditional, we weren't able to do the rumor engine. Did you guys see this today? I forgot to.
Oh no.
Yeah, totally. I think it's. I saw this earlier. Definitely think it's Flesh Eater Court. Hoping it might be far to the side, you know. Because look at the hands and the bone. Could be Gits because we've had some other Gits ones, but yeah, I'm thinking more Flesh Eater Court.
I don't think it's Gits because of the hand.
Yeah, the nails are too long.
Yeah, the nails are way too long.
Gits. Looking at the other Gits, they cut their nails. They like manicures.
Yeah, a lot of them don't seem to have nails or fingernails. Yeah, that's a good call. Flesh Eater Courts. I didn't really have a chance to think about it much. It's kind of like a twisted, like long tree branch thing. Yeah, that would be cool. Flesh Eater Courts certainly need, they need something.
I know someone suggested online it could be like a long range Curse City thing, but like they don't give miniatures in Curse City.
And I think that's way too early. They just started talking about like their kind of the art and their art direction and whatnot. Yo, Dan, thank you so much.
Wow. Someone gave us money?
Yeah.
Gave you money, I should say. Speaking of all hail the Bad Moon, before we get Matt's opinion, I am painting, you can actually see them, I'm currently basing Gits.
You gotta put them on
Actual
your forehead.
Gits, little Gits. It's because they won't see because the stupid background thing. But
Those are on
tiny
safety
Gits.
bases. You're gonna stab yourself with those.
Yeah. So I'm currently doing some basing. So up the Gits, taking them to Kippers. Gonna get beaten up, but it'll be fun. I'm gonna throw stuff at people.
Nice.
So Matt, what did you think that model?
Of what? Of the model?
Yeah. Have you seen the rumor engine picture?
No, I was just gonna show you. I didn't go to the Games Workshop community site today because before that, I saw this from Emma.
Oh yeah.
Release.
Emma posted that. Yeah, I retweeted it. I loved it.
I read that. And I went. I don't need to go today.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
That's pretty.
That is
I was gonna
absolutely
do an Anakin one, and then I saw that one. I said, no, I can't compete. That's too good.
Yeah.
Yo, but I wanted to just say thanks again, Dan. I'm apparently terrible at this, and I don't know how to pull
Matt.
up your thing.
Oh, yeah, Dan Griswold. Yeah.
No, I don't want to. Like, my options are put user into timeout or remove. Like, no, I want to put it up. What the- Oh, Dan,
I'm gonna
I'm so
distract
sorry.
people with a puppy behind me, and my dog is behind while you try and fix YouTube.
Dan,
Hey.
I couldn't put it up because I'm too inept, but I just added you as a moderator because that's the only other option.
All right, total control. Thanks.
Thank you.
So for $4.99, you can bribe your way to become a moderator on Second on Dice page.
Yeah, if I remain this inept, this is totally possible. Yeah, yeah. Please don't post any porn, okay?
It just means if he doesn't like the content, he can kick you off the air.
Yeah, exactly.
Painting 50 Boeing Grots and taking just yes.
Painting
10 times
50
5
Boeing
Grots.
routes. Heck yeah. Wow, that is so awesome. I've got 10, but I haven't even put them together yet.
Where are you all seeing this?
In
Oh,
Gits.
so we
Oh,
posted
sorry.
on YouTube.
Okay,
Here.
I'll put it up.
Yeah, and because then we can like read the chats from people on YouTube.
I'll send it to you right now.
With our new
Matt.
moderator.
Yeah, because we should put the stream scheduling on the Pacific Northwest.
That
War
would
Game
be very
too.
kind. Very much appreciated.
Oh man, this is my last chance to get solar while the subsidies are still here.
And you know what's messed up is I can't make Alex a moderator either. Even though he's here every week, he's been on the channel, and I know him personally.
Did you guys talk about
Oh,
the was it out last week? But the upcoming Battle Scrolls, was that out before the show last week or? I was literally in the desert, so like
Wait, which battle scroll?
Oh, the fact that they're doing that Games Workshop posted that thing about they're going to do some Battle Scroll updates and stuff.
No, so due to a scheduling conflict, we actually did the show on Monday.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to Tuesday. So
for those that haven't seen it and might be living on the rock, Games Workshop admitted, there's some of the races that are getting their asses kicked right now. So we're going to bring out some scrolls, just not going to tell you when they are. So supposedly Cruel Boys and Blue Sweat Gits are getting kind of like a power boost. We don't know if that's like War Scrolls or points drops or a combination. We're just waiting to see. Or they might even do something like they did with the Hunter and the Prey kind of thing.
I don't think it'll be points drops. I think they're going to try to do points drops. My guess is they'll do some kind of rules change. Here's what I think, and it's going to be amazingly bad. Here's what I think. I think they're going to be like, Cruel Boys and Gits have been unfairly taxed by bounty hunters. And we're going to give them a special battalion, which will make them be forced to be high drops, that makes them immune to bounty hunters for units in that battalion.
That's I saw that, and I think that's interesting, just because it would. But the only problem though is that it's then a tax as well. Like you can't put it
terrible.
Exactly, that's why it's bad. Yeah.
So.
But it's like, here, have a battalion that you now have to put your good units into this battalion so they don't die horribly, but it means they can no longer be bounty hunters.
They can no longer be bounty hunters or expert conquerors, and you can't be a one drop.
Yeah. Or like I wonder, because I feel like ogres need that too, but they're getting a book soon, so it's kind of like whatever, deal with it for the time being. But
speaking of which, they're releasing the Lumineth and the Giant book together.
Yeah, that's weird.
That is so weird.
It's like rather than do the two that actually came together in a battle set, we're gonna release them a bit separate.
Like the Lumineth box got stuck in a cargo crate somewhere.
Yeah,
right? Like
I
just wish they'd be like, stuff got stuck in stuff. I'm sorry. But so now they gotta delay it and they'll redo the release schedule.
If I was their PR, I would literally keep blaming the Evergreen over and over and over again for like the next 2 years, just because no one's gonna ever question it. Oh yeah, it's stuck in the Evergreen
or something.
I mean, before we move on though from the Battle Scroll update thing, did you guys read that article? It was fantastic. Like,
no,
pretty sure it said Thunder Lizards was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree. As someone who has no interest in Starborn, I think they nailed it. But I just like clear communication. Like, we tend to harp on them, and we should let them know when we're not happy. But when they clearly communicate and they say we're gonna do better and whatnot, I think they should be praised. Like, I think they should, And the article, yeah, and then the article was really well written. They didn't just say like, here are the stats and threw them up there. They explained like where they got them from, how they're looking at them, everything. I don't know. Actually, they didn't get them from Honest Wargamer.
AOS Coach.
No, they didn't get them. They got them from Best Coast Pairings and something else. I forget. It was another thing. Actually, something I'm not actually aware of. But like tabletop.to or something, like I can't remember what it was. Yeah, but and their stats were different than Honest Wargamer's stats, because Gits were at the bottom of the list in the Honest Wargamer stats, and Cruel Boys were at the bottom of the list in the Games Workshop one. So take it, but like they're roughly the same.
Cruel Boys and Gits to the next GT, is that what I understand?
Yeah.
Powerful choices.
Just checking.
Unless the Tzeentch fact drops, in which case the Cruel Boys go back in the garbage.
Nice. In the garbage. You just keep them in the garbage and you're like, one
I'm
day.
kidding. They're not
one day.
Ricky's painting them at the minute.
Oh man, I love Cruel Boys too. I seem to pick armies that GW picks on, except for Seraphon. But then I just like never played Seraphon for the first, what was it, 2 years after they came out, because they didn't get any models. So like that's what I care about. But yeah, so okay, let's see if I can figure this out. Not look like an idiot. Too late. I already did that opening.
Oh, are we going on to our actual subject for the day?
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, so you can follow Matt on Twitter at M_Beasley. I think I misspelled your name in the show. Dang it! I was gonna ask you guys, but you were talking. Oh man! And then we've got Eric's dog's Instagram in the chat here, or underneath there in the middle. Instagram /G.TLEZAA. He's got it.
He's a cute bulldog. Check him out.
He has the most personality of any dog, maybe ever. So he's going to be a superstar one day.
True.
Oh, apparently.
Yeah, get in on the.
Apparently, Manny says the second website, the one that's not Best Coast Pairings, that I can't remember, is shutting down soon, anyways. So that's, yeah.
It is cool they're doing it. You're right. We should compliment on the stuff they're doing well. Like, just because it wasn't done perfectly doesn't mean it wasn't a cool thing.
Exactly. And I mean,
better at.
You know, like the results from what's the word, positive reinforcement versus negative reinforcement are so clear, because it's like if it's like every time they do something, it's like, oh, you guys didn't do this right and this and that right, and then they're just like, okay, well then why are we doing this? You know what I mean? Like, it's only natural you kind of start to question your motives when all you do is get thrown under the bus. But and the article was really interesting. I highly encourage people to read it. I did tweet it out. I hope you guys like it.
Is this you kind of like, subliminally talking about your YouTube videos and sometimes people's comments where you just look like...
Honestly, you
just want to, like, oh, shut up and enjoy the thing. Just go and have fun.
Well, like, what's funny is honestly, like, I appreciate it. We do get rules wrong. It's really hard. You're filming and you're thinking about not just the game. Like when you just play a game, you're thinking about the game. But when you're filming, you're thinking about holding the camera right, trying to make sure that the dice are in camera where you throw them. You know what I mean? You've got more things to think about. Not sounding like an idiot, modulating your voice so you don't sound like a robot. There's a few different things you actually have to think about, as it turns out. I did not give enough credit to people who were filming, but I do appreciate the rules corrections when we do get them. However, just because you think something's wrong doesn't mean it's actually wrong. Like I'm finding like maybe 2/3 of the comment are actually wrong themselves, as opposed to yeah.
Someone commented on the game with Andy where it's like, oh, he didn't remove the models, but he didn't say where. So like both of us like, no, I don't remember that happening.
Yeah.
Like which part of the thing? And then he's like, not commented back. So it's just like, are you just trolling? Are you just being weird? Or
yeah, and like my first reaction is, oh, I'm probably wrong, or we did something wrong. Like that's just my natural state. So when someone said, hey, the sensor bearer shouldn't have been able to pile in after they got hit by the tree lord, I was like, oh shoot, And then I was like asking Erik, like, do they have that rule or whatever? And then I asked Matthias, and he's like, my sensor bearers hit first. Like, what? And I was like, oh, I went and checked it, and they totally hit first. And, yeah, but
his comments are valuable comments.
They are actually. That's true.
Okay.
I don't want.
It's my troll friend. Shake, shake, boom.
Mason's awesome though.
Regular. Look up for Tree Lord.
Yeah, if you hit with something, then they don't get to pile in. But
yeah, but to be fair, it's like nobody should know that rule, because who plays Tree Lord?
Other than you, Erik?
Well, yeah. But,
Well, they probably confused it because if you hit them with the monstrous rampage, then they get always strikes last, and then you could hit them, and then they can't pile in. Right. So maybe he missed with the monstrous rampage.
Oh, well, he did miss with the monster. Yeah, he rolled like a 1, so that doesn't work. Yeah, Matthias was. I mean, I'm not trying to throw that guy under the bus. You know what I mean? Like, if you think something's wrong, totally put a comment in there. A timestamp would be super valuable, and we can totally understand exactly what you mean then. And what's the other thing? Oh, just be clear, who and You know what I mean? Like a little bit of background information can help us find it.
Or troll Rob and just put a whole bunch of wrong things in the and fill it
What
up.
did Rob do to Rob today?
That's just the status quo though, Eric. Like that's just what's happening right now. Yeah,
all in good, right? So,
it's true. I mean, so speaking of messing with people, today we're talking about Tzeentch, also known as Tzeentch or Tzeentch or the Changer of Ways. He goes by many names. He has many eyes and many wings. Have you ever seen like the actual like what he's supposed to look like? I didn't know this until I watched a Major Kill video, which is where I get the silly name for him. And he basically Tzeentch is supposed to look like a biblical angel, where he's all like what do you call it? Wings and eyes. No, but that's awesome. Do you guys have new art in your books?
They actually got decent a new cover and new artwork.
So jealous. I'm so
Where
jealous.
did you find a picture of Tzeentch?
Oh no! Like so, if you watch the Major Kill video where he talks about what the Chaos Gods actually look like, he was just kind of going into it. Like apparently, Khorne looks like basically I think like a giant bloodthirster, but like there's some people who think that he looks like this big knight. And anyway, he goes into all the details, but I just thought the whole Tzeentch thing was kind of interesting. They don't actually have.
I wonder if it's from the old Warhammer Chaos Libra books.
There's no picture of him that exists, but there's descriptions of him from actual reliable lore, and that's where he doesn't actually show a picture of Tzeentch. He shows a picture of like of a rendering of what a biblical angel is supposed to look like. So it just thought it was kind of fun and interesting. I really like the picture of him, like that weird grinning picture in the stars. I think it's fan art, but I still think it looks amazing. But yeah, so going into Tzeentch. Oh, now we're cross corners. So now Dale's. Oh wait, is that pointing at? Yeah, it's pointing at the right thing. And then I was gonna say color commentary, but now that doesn't work anymore. Color commentary, and then this way are the people you should actually listen to about the opinions of Tzeentch. I have had a chance to read, just literally skim read the book. It seems super fun, super interesting, and I think I like everything that they've taken away. Like I do like that they've taken away the Kairos 1 dice per game thing. I know, I mean, strategically it's amazing, right? But like anytime they take away something that's like a well-known kind of feels baddie kind of thing. Like I'm hoping they do the same thing to Be'lakor. He's so awesome and fun in 40K. I think that's exactly what he should be. He should be this like absolute straight up killer, and he should be extremely hard to kill himself, and lots of fun magic.
I don't know. I heard they got easy grand strategy and battle tactics, and I hate it when army books get that. So
yeah, I know. Yeah. I can't actually see the glass in your house there, Dale, but I'm assuming it's there. Yeah, it's got to be there somewhere.
Hey, what are you talking about? I'm playing Gits right now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Daughters of Cain? So, what Daughters of Cain?
I'm relying also on Matt and Eric's advice on this, mainly because I have been in the desert for the last week, so I've not looked at anything.
Oh, they have amazing battle tactics and a totally non-interactive grand strategy.
Cool. So
here we go.
50,000 foot view. What do you guys think? Maybe I'll go with Erik first. He's alphabetical.
I don't know. Tzeentch good, Nurgle bad. I think is the 50,000 foot view.
Yeah. I mean, Nurgle's still pretty good, but.
So I didn't play the last book because I didn't like it because it was so much like bookkeeping, like the whole extra set of secondaries I have to worry about with the agendas, and I just like it wasn't my jam. And they took all the stuff I didn't like out, and now I'm kind of into playing this new book, so I'm excited about it.
And you were always into Mortals, right?
Yeah, I mean I played Demons also, but when I bought all the Zangor stuff when it came out, and I was very excited about it. And it was really good for like a very brief period of time, and then kind of hasn't been ever since. And now I'm sort of finding new ways to make it kind of fun and cool.
Yeah, I remember when you thought when we thought Beasts of Chaos Zangor were really strong because you were playing my Skaven book that didn't exist. I was playing General Chaos but Skaven, and it's like, wow, these guys are awesome, you know. And then
Well, Bangor used to be really good. You can get them up to like +5 attacks and stuff. It was just like crazy. They were getting so many attacks with their 2 damage blades, and like nobody had 2 damage at that time. They were really good.
I remember I put like 90 attacks from my Storm Vermin or something like that into your or no, it was more than that. It was like 120 attacks from my Storm Vermin at the time into your Zangor. I killed like 4 Zangor, and then they attacked back and killed all of my Storm, all
How
40.
did you only kill 4 Zangor?
Well, I mean, I did roll atrociously bad.
You've never seen Rob play, have you?
Yeah. I've got this thing where I can defy the odds. Like they were hitting on like 2s or something like that, or I forget what it was. Yeah. Yeah, it was 40 or 50% 1s on like 120 dice. It was pretty awesome though. Like in retrospect, I regret nothing. Hey Sean, thanks for showing up again. So sorry, Matt Beasley. Before I forget, your high altitude view.
I think that they simplified a lot of stuff that I enjoyed, unnecessary complexity wise. But they added some really interesting stuff, and that the power level feels neither busted nor bad, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And now I haven't had the pleasure thus far. Would you agree that like in Age of Sigmar 3, they're doing like a really good job with all the new books of balancing them overall? Like, can you? I can't think of anything. We haven't talked about this before, so I want to get your take on it. It seems like there's been nothing that's come out that's a 3.0 book that's been way overtuned other than Stormcast, and that was the first one. So,
I think they've done better than at any period where I have played a Games Workshop game in the history. In my history. So I think there have been some misses tending to be on units, not books.
Oh, okay.
Like I think flies are a huge miss. But overall, yeah, I think it's better than it's ever been before from a balance perspective.
When you say flies are a huge miss, do you mean that they're too good or too bad?
Oh, I think they're too good.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Like they're not unbeatable,
No.
And I think it used to be their huge misses. There was a point in 40K when you were like, haha, I have a bunch of streamers that all have 2-up wards. And so it's a different like degree of miss. It's a degree of miss that like this has some unreasonably bad matchups. Y'all, this is not done particularly well. Versus, if you look at modern 40K, a miss there is much more egregious. So I think it's better than it's ever been, but it still has room for improvement.
Yeah, I think that's a really good. Yeah, I think I would totally agree. Okay, well, before I milk this too much, so I've got the PDF that I was sent up on the screen. It starts with core battalions, so I guess we should talk about that. There's only one though, and it's crazy.
Oh yeah, the core battalions. That's the best book. Yeah.
Well, so sorry, we should have we got to Tzeentch list book. It's talking about the level 3 incarnate for 9 fate points.
Wait, what?
Level 3 incarnate's 9 fate point for 500 point bird. Oh, so just to like respond to the chat before we go on power level.
Totally.
So level 3 incarnate trick existed before this book.
Oh, okay.
I've done it. I've taken a Tzeentch book that had a level 3 incarnate trick.
Yeah.
And it's still risky because you have a 1 in 12 chance of auto losing you the game by rolling a 3 or less. I used it in one game because I knew I had a bad matchup. It worked perfectly. Everything went off as amazingly as it possibly could, and I still lost because it's still worse than Thunder Lizards.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, it wasn't even Thunder Lizards.
You're bringing it all the way back.
It's not a new combo. It's like a slightly more powerful version of an existing combo that's been around for months and has never dominated the meta.
Huh.
And then as far as the 9 fate points for a 500 point bird, 400-point bird, also not new. That existed in second edition. It was Guilds of Summoners. It was a super niche list. I played it all the time. It was super fun, but it wasn't that broken because you get one really cheap lure to change. You have to resolve it on turn 1 for be effective because magic spells are most effective on turn 1 or 2. If you don't resolve it on turn 1, you're getting it on turn 2. You're casting turns 3 through 5. The relative point efficiency of the summon is not that great. Like, it's a fun list, and I want to try it, but like having played Guild of Summoners a lot, this is not new busted. Like, this is cool stuff, but it's not new busted or it would have been before.
Yeah, and getting 9 fate points in your first turn means you need to bring a lot of heroes you probably don't want to have to bring.
It means you have to base your list around that and hope you don't get disruptive in pairings. And like, again, I'm going to try that list, but not because I think it's broken.
Well, and you're also not getting any other allegiance abilities. That's the entire allegiance ability. And also, I mean, I guess you could do it like, what do you call it, where you could take, isn't there a command trait where you can get like 3 free fate points?
Yeah, it's a command trait on the demon, so you probably take it on the guy that gives you like 4 fate points when you cast a spell. Like, there's ways to do it, and you probably can safely get a Lord of Change turn 1. But then that becomes what you've done with your summoning, and it's basically what you've designed your list around, rather than designing your list around other stuff. And I think it'll be good, but
that's fair.
It wasn't busted before.
He says he's talking about the Forge World bird.
Oh, the greater.
Exalted.
Thank you.
That's just they always need to fact that. Like, it's gonna get fact just like it did before because of the original book. The last one that came out, people were like, "Oh, I can summon Kairos. Oh, I can summon the Greater Demon of Tzeentch," and then it immediately got fact to be Lord of Change, like the War Scroll.
Standard, like bold keyworded. Yeah, that's that's crazy that they're doing that again, but it's hardly surprising because every book has been like that. The Skaven book I know was filled with stuff that they just didn't bother to change the wording on. And
it's normal. It's one of the reasons why tournaments don't usually allow until the FAQs come out.
It's a good reason, and sometimes it goes for you, and sometimes it goes against you.
Just rule everything ambiguous against the new book. Let me bring Tzeentch and rule everything against me. I'm fine.
That's fair. Yeah, it looks super fun. Okay, so now we are going to go down to grand strategies. There's 2 of them. Wait, is there 3 of them? No, there's 3 of them. No, there's 4 of them. Jeez, I'm so tired. I'm so tired, everyone.
There's 4 of them. There's probably one that you'll see.
Cut me some slack. I was like, why is there only 2 of these? Like, I thought I was reading like the.
Sorry, so Sean's comment. I want to finish. This is good to engage with. It does have a later change keyword. Yeah. You're not wrong. I think it's going to get fact. It got fact before, and like I'm really not trying to sound rude. I think that like you're right calling stuff out. I think that
it should be written into the
as we go through this stuff. There's a lot of stuff that will need FAQs, and there's definitely some like historical stuff where it's easy to look like Tzeentch is broken, and so I just want to like check those assumptions. Have you tried those lists?
Yes, and arguably more importantly, Louis said the bird is the word, and I think that's undeniable.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So
we got 4. Maybe I won't read the entire book out because we've already got videos up there for that. Is there any grand strategy in here, or more than one grand strategy that either of you guys think? Well, there's one. Apparently, there's one. But are there any out here other than the one that we're going to bring up? Apparently, that you guys think is better than the vanilla ones?
Go ahead, Erik. I'm curious what you say.
Yeah, I mean it's Master of Destiny. You just keep 2 dice and you whip it.
Oh.
I mean, it's opportunity cost to doing it, but like, you know, it's kind of free points if you feel like it's going to come down to the grand strategy. Then you can make that decision.
Yeah.
There's also the worst one, which is if you end the game with 27 unspent fate points, you get 3 victory points. That one's pretty. That one's pretty.
Both of both exist on the same page.
That's crazy.
You can do one of these 2 things.
Yeah.
27. What?
Yeah.
It's like you can keep these 2 dice or not summon and freaking have tons.
Yeah. The whole game.
Crikey, that is amazing. Oh dear.
Look at Realm of Magic. Yeah. I think that is not. It's weird, man, because like there's the Fire Slayers one that people like that's have the Endless Prayer out, but like most armies can't dispel the prayer, and you need one of them. And this relies on having multiple casters that have kept 2 spells out at the end of the game that haven't been dispelled or cast in the last turn. Like it's not terrible, but like I just don't see taking it above take what's theirs. And I absolutely see taking Master of Destiny above take what's theirs.
I mean, you're probably gonna roll like at least 1-2 in your Destiny dice, and so unless you're real desperate, you know, like a one.
I think that's what you do with your 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
Like it's like a 4, some 2s and 3s, right? Like you're sacrificing a 4. Your 2s. And here's the other reason it's amazing is because Shield of Fate is amazing, and so you want to have Destiny dice left anyway.
Yeah, and there's lots of ways to get Destiny dice in the book if you want to have Destiny dice. Kairos.
Yeah, Kairos is what I was thinking of as well. What's Shield of Fate?
Shield of Fate is a spell that now gives you a ward save and additional bonuses based on the number of Destiny dice you have remaining. It existed before, but it used to like let you reroll 1s or reroll saves, and now it gives you a 5-up ward. So you take your big block, you stick a 5-up ward on it, possibly also a spell ignore.
Whoa, that is pretty awesome. Wow.
But you have to have Destiny dice around to do it. And so if you're taking Shield of Fate and you take this Grand Strat, you have multiple incentives to keep your mediocre dice in the pool.
That's so much fun because like there's a cost on both sides. You naturally want to use your Destiny dice, but they're giving you a reason both to use them, which is that they're good, but also to not use them, which is just, that's super cool. I love it. Okay. Battle tactics. One of these is slightly cut off, but are any of these sort of?
I mean, one's you are playing Guild of Summoners, so that's cool.
Right.
Like it's summon a Lord of Change to the battlefield.
Oh man, yeah.
Play Guild of Summoners, the tactic.
Yeah, wow, that's cool.
You know, gets 2 free points for playing that subfaction.
Yeah,
it's pretty. That's almost like an elf rule, you know, 2 free points.
Yeah, do something you want to do anyway. Here's some points for it. Love it.
I kind of like 3, 4, and 5. There's one that's kill a model that has 9 or more wounds or a unit. Charge when you start more than 18 away, and control something with 9 or more objectives, because they're all really conditionally easy. And none of them are, I'm DOK, I have 2 Flappy Birds.
That's true.
Like, none of them are as dumb as Dale's battle tactics, is what I'm trying to say. They're all really good.
Yeah, I'm sitting over here with 3 Revenants, just like...
No, Cruel is one of the dumbest, easiest ones to do. It's great.
Yeah.
But, like, they're all very, like... I like them because while the situation needs to be available, if you're in the situation, it's very reliable to achieve.
Yeah.
And, you know, it feels like, you know, and I can't speak to every book, but like the Night Haunt ones seem well written to me. The Sylvaneth ones overall seem well written to me. But there are books out there that are not well written. Like their battle tactics are not thought out. Like it's obvious that they just did not think them out. Skaven,
I think some of them were written by people that then didn't read the new War Scrolls. Because like the Canary one, for instance, Cruel, which is move your Canary after their ability. Yeah. So either the move and shoot or the combat and move. Yeah. But I think they forgot that the other Canary are still on a 4+, and then the Heart Renders are automatic. So it took it away from being it's a gamble. You've got to get it on a 4+.
Yeah,
but then this other unit now has it automatically, so it's like it's a free thing.
That could be, but like, you know, like these seem like they're all like they're not too easy, but they're not too hard. You know what I mean? So it seems like a good mixture.
Half the Stormcast ones need Cities of Sigmar units to do anything.
Oh, that's terrible design. And like,
yeah, it's pretty.
Honestly, like I think. I can't speak to the Stormcast ones, but like some of the ones like for example Skaven, it feels like they were just like, we don't have time to think about this. Just write something down, make sure that it's grammatically correct and that people can understand it, and then we'll figure the rest out later. It's like the Underpants gnomes.
That's grammatically correct is a high bar. Have you read this thing? There's some ambiguity.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, I wish they would make that bird the best because I love that bird endless spell. Yes, that thing.
In this one too.
Nice, good. It's. I mean, it looks really cool, and I can see the play for it, but they're
It has one really powerful part of the War Scroll. Are you ready to see the really powerful part of the War Scroll?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah. Is it a 120?
It's like 120 by 70 or something, but like
oval. Yeah, that's big.
It's a undispellable wall.
Oh.
Like you can walk through it, but you can't end on it.
Yeah, because it's such a big base. Yeah.
Yeah. And getting rid of it on an 8 is not easy either. So it's
you could take that and the suffocating Greavetide and just have the two of them and just be like, here, get through this.
Gross.
Impassable on one side, Simon on the other side.
Gross, but I do love it. Okay.
I think the game is better for having specific tactics and strats. No.
Man.
I like it. I think I'm going to agree. Because I think it's like a thing that can be good or bad in your army. Like, some people are bad at shooting. Other armies are bad at battle tactics. Like Stormcast.
Yeah.
The reason I would say no is because I think that the most important parts of the game are where you are making decisions that are not just about what you're doing, about what your opponent's doing. And it's such a learning barrier to memorize every book's battle tactics, especially when some of them are locked behind a paywall, that correctly interacting with your opponent's battle tactics and trying to stop them from doing them is sort of like an unreasonable knowledge barrier. And so it makes the game of trying to prevent your opponent's battle tactics really not approachable for most players.
That's a good point, but Games Workshop has a really solid answer to that, and it's just buy every book.
Well, but then you have to memorize all the tactics too. Like, I like the individual tactics. I just don't like the dynamic because I think it reduces strategic interaction for most people playing the game.
And there's also some armies that don't have them yet, and they're just being further abused by it.
True, although that's very few now. We're getting down to almost everybody having.
Gets ogres. Is that it?
Crowboys, do they have them?
They have them.
They actually have one.
They have one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's not that bad, but like, yeah, you could argue that like some armies' battle tactics are so bad that it's better to not have them because then you've got the hope of getting them in the future and them being good, right?
True.
But okay, cool. Let's move on to some allegiance abilities. Should I read these out? Hell, I'll read them out. So Arcane Armies. Jeez, it's not starting out good. In the first battle round, after the players have received their starting command points, but before the start of the first turn, you can pick one friendly Disciples of Tzeentch wizard on the battlefield. That wizard can automatically cast a spell that they know that summons a Burning Sigil of Tzeentch, Tome of Eyes, or Demonic Simulacrum. Sure. Endless spell. Do not make a casting roll. That spell cannot be unbound, cannot be dispelled in the first round. Set up the endless spell as described in the effect for that spell. That's pretty awesome. It's a great way of selling things, which I think is good for the shareholders, but also the Tzeentch endless spells look freaking awesome as discussed.
Yeah. And I have to buy them now.
Yes, everyone has to buy them now. Wait, what? I didn't make an obscene gesture. What the crap? Did you see that? It looked like I was flipping you guys off. I was not flipping anyone off. Okay.
Hey, I bought them when they came out, and they sat unassembled in my closet for a lot of years, except for the book, which was so bad I converted it into a Demon Rift, and now I can't run it, even if it's decent.
I have bought the Gitz endless spells now purely because they are awesome looking. So they're up next.
Well, the Gitz spells are good. That Skulltide is awesome.
I love that thing. Although it's like the same CAD file, and then they hit copy V, and then like copy C, copy V like a bazillion times. The exact same spider, but it doesn't come you don't need a base for it. It just comes on the model is the base, which is really cool. I like how you can summon it anywhere on the board, but we're not talking about Gitz.
Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah. So, okay. I guess so. This is obviously a really cool, powerful mechanic. I think we would all agree. Do you, I guess we should talk about fate points?
Yeah, you don't get one.
Oh, you don't get one. Okay.
There's two ambiguities. One is, do you get fate points? I would say you do not, because you do not roll to
You
cast
not
the
roll,
spell.
right? Yeah.
And then the other one is, do you have to pay for the spell? And I would say yes, because otherwise it would not say spell you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with both.
I think
That's how I
they
think
should have
of it.
been clear with the wording, but I think it's also clear that that's the intention, at least. Okay. Crikey. So Master of Destiny is the old Destiny dice rule.
Wait. I have a question about Arcane Armies.
Please.
Eric, which multiple do you plan to use with Arcane Armies?
I think it's got to be the sigil, and I think it's because of turning people into spawn.
I think I'm literally going to take both and try to do it based on the matchup.
Ah, okay.
Oh,
And,
yeah, I never even thought.
and not take Spell Portal.
Ugh. Yeah.
This one be like the self-advocate, like trying it without Spell Portal, because like
Yeah.
Sigil is so amazing with it, right? Because like, yeah, you're blocking so much board space, but I think there'll be some situations you'll be like, cool, that terrain's 6 inches apart, your move 8. I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna put it right here. You're not gonna be able to have the back model in your unit go past the end of the space, and I'm gonna just move block you, and you can't dispel it. And sometimes, and I think most of the time, Sigil will be better, and then sometimes, like, you're just gonna like trap your opponent.
Yeah,
It's only that
exist in the game.
Is it only the first turn you can't dispel it, or
First battle round.
Yeah,
first battle? Okay.
So
But it also
two
means you can do it. Give away turn 1. Move block your opponent if you use the terrain right.
well, maybe now would be a good time to talk about we could just talk about the endless spells that come in the book right now, just because, like, we're kind of like going like, yeah, you can use it for this, and it does, but we're not saying what they do. Would you guys? Okay, so what does Sigil do? What's the TLDR of Sigil?
Go ahead.
You roll dice for everybody within 9 inches, every unit within 9 inches, and on a 4-up they take D3 mortal wounds. And then if somebody is killed by those mortal wounds, you can use the other allegiance ability, which is spawn, transform into spawn, I think it's called.
So the weird part about Sigil, and this is another one of the rules ambiguities that will come up, is it says the first time a model is killed by this spell, and it's a separate sentence. And you can read that as each time a unit is affected, the first time a model is killed, or you can read it as no matter how many units are affected, the first time the model is killed. I think it's probably the second one. It's probably 1 spawn, no matter how many units are killed. But like that does need an FAQ. If it's only 1, your opponent is going to choose where it comes from, because you're going to do all the damage, and they're going to allocate all the wounds in order, and they're going to pick where the spawn pops out from.
Got it.
Which can sometimes be in the middle of their blob, and you won't get to have.
But that'll be really hard because it doesn't follow the generic endless rule. Because the generic rule says it has to be within an inch, but the War Scroll doesn't use the generic rule. That actually only affects the Magistrar. The War Scroll says anywhere within 3 inches of the unit.
Oh, but doesn't it say it uses the transform to spawn allegiance ability, which says within 1 inch of the model?
Oh.
Check
they
out
put all
the,
that into that transform to spawn
different models.
thing.
It actually doesn't say it uses the transform to spawn.
First
it does.
Yeah, it's the one thing that doesn't.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
that's
it is
kind of
weird.
good.
And so transform to spawn actually only affects the Magistrars and then that one artifact that you can make a spawn from.
Right. Well, that's interesting. What? I make it an allegiance ability and then not put all of the things into it. That's weird.
Because in playtesting, this is only supposed to affect the first thing to die, and it was too obnoxious to have people pick the Horde unit first and have people constantly not get spawns.
Right.
I don't know, but like I think that's the interaction.
And 3 inches is so much better for putting your spawn down, because then he doesn't get attacked back as much, and it's so much better than 1 inch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can make them only up by 1, maybe 2 models if you put them in the right spot. If you put them on a corner of a unit.
Right, exactly. And I mean, that's what you used to do with Gift of Change, right? So it's the new Gift of Change use case where the Magistrar one's much harder.
Yeah, for sure.
And before we forget, I know Matt already said we're going to tackle it, but do you want to talk about the Incarnate? Like, I have an opinion on it, but I do, my opinion's much less valuable.
I mean, I think it's legitimately a fact required thing. So the question is, does the Endless Spell leave if the Incarnate eats it? No. can the incarnate eat it? It's unclear if it has any effects because the sentence that has it gain a level is the same spell that has it go, or the same sentence that has the spell go away. So it's unclear to me that anything happens, and I think it needs an FAQ. Well, again, it might be busted and worked that way, but I think it just legit needs it back.
Huh. Yeah, that's a great point. I'm assuming that the FAQ is going to come down on no, considering they just made an article saying we don't want to encourage this many people to have the incarnate. They're saying we're aiming for around 10%. It's like, oh yeah, here's another reason though.
Yeah, or it could come down on yes, and they could nerf the incarnate at the same time, right? Like, fair. But like, I think it's a reasonable argument, and that's legitimately ambiguous.
I actually like that idea. Okay, should we talk about the Tome of Eyes, or is it just?
Oh, I only read that one once and forgot what it did. You want to take that one?
Cast or stupid. Reroll cap. Oh. Yeah, it's like it's bad cogs. It's cogs for one guy.
It's bad cogs that follows you around.
Right.
Which is funny because like Tzeentch wants the reroll more than anyone, right? Like.
Right. Well, it's okay.
It's like
the argument for it is it's a way to give Kairos that artifact, because there's an artifact a regular Lord of Change can take that gives them all the rerolls.
Yeah.
And this sort of, you could do this with Kairos. So I think it'll get some play. I think it's just usually worse than Cogs.
That's awesome. Okay. And then now moving on to the one that I don't know the name of because it's cut off in this picture. The birds. Bird. Yeah, that guy.
This spell didn't actually change. It does exactly what it did before. It's just better because of the interaction with the other ability.
So because you can't be unbound and.
Yeah, so it goes up. Its long range is like 27-inch threat range. You roll 9 dice on 5 up. It does more wounds to the nearest unit. So it's 3 wounds. 4 up to the nearest wizard, 4.5 wounds to a wizard. Like, it's the same thing it always was, and it didn't get a lot of play before. That mainly the difference is because you can make a predatory spell that hits your opponent turn 1 that is not unbindable and goes off before they go, you can get multiple mortal ticks before it can be unbound during their turn and then your turn, and if you're giving away top of 1, and you have like the base size interruption. So the spell didn't change, it just got, like, Arcane Armies makes it interesting.
That's and so then my follow-up question about Arcane Armies is there a time when you wouldn't use it? Like, for example, if you're in the Summoners Guild and you want the fate points as early as possible.
Why would that get you more fate points?
Well, because like if you choose not to, excuse me, if you choose not to automatically get it, you could just cast it if you're against an army that is going to be unbinding.
You just cast something else.
But aren't you going to run out of spells to cast? No. Okay.
You always have 3 generics, right? Because you have Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield, and the Realm spell.
Yeah.
And you can cast things that don't have a target for the fate point; they just fizzle.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
There's quite a few lore.
So there's literally no point. Okay, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, they must sell a lot of boxes with this.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Terminexus for Night Haunt, and cool. Okay, so Masters of Destiny. It's the same thing as before. Is there any changes here? Any notable changes? It's the Destiny dice. They call it Masters of Destiny.
They incorporated the FAQ, so that's cool.
Thank God.
They what?
They incorporated the FAQ about the
about what?
About the rend thing.
The one thing that I was curious about is it kind of reads to me like, say I'm best day ever, and I get hit with rend 1.
Okay.
Does a Destiny dice of a 4 stop it?
Destiny dice of a
4. And what's your base save?
Your base save is 4 up. You must still modify the roll by applying the rend characteristic, but it doesn't say you get the bonuses because it's unmodified. But then it says it applies the rend, and like logically, I feel like you're not better than your base save. But it just says rend.
Yeah. So I don't think you get the bonus.
Wow.
So you could be you could be you could be at best day ever with Mystic Shield and get hit by Ren 2, and only a 6 on the Destiny dice would stop it. I think that's how that reads.
Yeah, I think that's
weird.
Because that's also like casting, right? If you're like +3 to cast and you put down 7 on the Destiny dice, it's not a 10, it's a 7.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Because it's an unmodified roll.
Wow, okay. I mean, so it seems intentional, even though it seems kind of crazy at the same time?
I think that the casting one is intentional. The save one, like, maybe it's intentional. Like, I just, like, read it and was like, huh.
I mean,
I don't think I parsed that right.
It seems to be congruent, but at the same time, it also is very complicated. Like, until you explained it, I didn't get the problem or what we were even...
And you still modify Battle Shock, too, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Huh. I mean, I kind of hope, at least for the Rend one, I kind of hope that they go the other way, even though it seems to be written that way, just because, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the one where I do want them to, like, push it back the other way, because it just feels awkward.
It does.
To have, like, one side of saves and not the other.
Yeah, and if they stick with the way that it is right now, like, you have to explain it and have this really complicated conversation with your opponent every time, and that just seems miserable.
Right. Right.
That stuff in there, like the Skyfire rule is kind of like that, where it's like you can't have positive modifiers to save, but you still have negative modifiers to save.
That's true, but they do specifically
and
say
you
it.
still have modifiers to
yeah.
So,
but like,
I don't know.
This is kind of like, I don't know. I'm sure you guys remember having this conversation with your opponents where it was like, remember before it was like, if like you could re-roll failed saves, and then you had to explain to someone that like the modifiers happen after, and it's. And some people, like, it's really, like, and it's a complicated thing, so I never blamed anyone for, like, for having trouble kind of figuring it out, but...
It all boils, you can't do your thing, and you don't really understand why.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And,
I'm glad they fixed that.
And it's just, I didn't enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm glad that's gone, too.
But so, moving to the next section, like, Endless Spells, huge win for the book. They're the part I'm most excited about.
Cool.
Really, really fun.
That's really awesome. I love to hear it.
Yeah. And you don't really take it all to something that most people will take, I think.
And the Tzeentch ones are maybe the best looking.
They're so cool.
They're really cool. Actually, I like the Skaven ones too, but obviously I'm biased.
They're trying the new contrast paints on them, and it's just, it's a really good experience. I'm using the Slapchop 2.0 thing, and then I'm using the new contrast paints.
Yeah. Cool.
You all know the modification. It's basically Slapchop but with a color gradient Zenithal.
Oh, okay. Right.
So it's like a warm undertone, and then I'm using a warm undertone, and then doing the thin, and then the white dry brush, and then the white highlight, and then the thin contrast. With the new contrast paints on the Tzeentch Endless Spells, I'm very excited.
Nice. That's awesome. That's good to hear. Anytime someone's having an easier time painting something, that's fantastic, because that's, for a lot of us, it's a means to an end. Couldn't say it. I actually haven't watched the Slapchop video. Like, someone explained it to me, and I couldn't tell the difference between Slapchop and sketch style and you know, a bunch of other stuff that I'd already heard about. So, but I'll have to watch it one of these days and see how it, you know.
Yeah, watch the Slapchop 2.0 one.
Okay.
That'll pop up. I thought it was really good.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Anything that'll help me paint faster, because I'm a very notoriously slow painter. So, cool. Okay, so Locus of Change. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons that target friendly Disciples of Tzeentch demon units that are wholly within 12 inches of a friendly Disciples of Tzeentch demon hero. Awesome.
Oh, you just reminded me that something changed about... Oh, never mind. Different. Keep going.
Okay.
Later.
Yeah. That seems pretty freaking cool.
Like, yeah, I mean, let's not go -1 to hit on annoying units you're trying to keep alive forever.
Yeah, and they do well at shooting, so they don't need, you know, like, you don't need it in shooting, right? So...
They tend to be kind of weak against shooting and good against melee armies.
It would be in shooting as well, but you know. But if you're just trying to tag in the corner and suck them into your, you know.
Would you rather have it against shooting or melee?
Probably melee, because that's where I want to get anyway, I think.
Oh.
Most of the time.
In our current meta, we don't have a huge amount of shooting. in this area that we're in.
Northwest.
Yeah.
Pacific Northwest of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you think about the last couple of tournaments, there's maybe been like 4 or 5 armies that have got like a significant amount of shooting in, and then the rest are kind of more combat based.
We had really heavy shooting until the spring battle scroll.
I guess is that because of the Lumineth that hit?
Lumineth and the Stormcast and the long strike hit.
Oh, right.
Hitting, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
And
the Stormcaster.
hit, which went away, but.
Okay, and then so is there anything you guys want to add about the -1 to hit other than it's clearly pretty dope?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I wish I had it on Zangor. I don't understand why they buff the good part of the book and don't give it to the other part of the book, but yeah, that's fine.
Because the Angors are going to be bad forever now that you haven't painted them.
Well, they did get down to 1 attack, so, you know.
Goodness. Okay. So then the change covens. I don't think we want to go through all of them. You guys want to give me your favorites or anything that stands out as awesome?
Yeah, because of timeline, we're not doing a full book review, so definitely pick your kind of favorites.
Yeah, it's cool that they didn't change the abilities on any of them. I don't think. I think the main abilities stayed the same on all of them.
Oh, cool.
So they just took away all the mandatory stuff, like the mandatory trait and artifact.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, those
changes, but as far as I can tell, they're basically the same.
That idea should be shot into the sun, so that's great. Good to hear.
I think you're good. I think all of them but Cult of Transformation are good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So weird and hard to set up, but it would be so cool if you could make it work.
If only I could upgrade my mediocre chaff into really bad heroes.
Yeah. That would be great. Although I do have a plan. You can get them up to 5 attacks each if you go paired blades and then the beak, and then you go 3 -1 to save spells, and then you just like blend through everything. I'm telling you. It's a plan.
I think you
it's the only plan.
That's affection's bad.
Yeah.
Mason says auto unbind and flamer buff 1.
Yeah. I think they're all good. They all have good use cases. Go ahead.
I don't know. There's lots of good ones.
Cool. Okay, and then so we've got the summoning thing. I don't think that's changed really.
That's have one change.
Oh, okay.
The change is that it has to be within 9 of the character, and it used to be within outside 9 of your opponent and within 12 of the character, which allowed you to do some sort of interesting positioning stuff after while you were in combat.
Yep.
And because it's now 9 on both, it makes it a little harder to place.
Yeah.
Easier to walk.
I wish all the books had some kind of a mechanic like Khorne, where you didn't have to summon models.
Yeah.
Because it sucks to have to buy the army twice, and like, no other have to do that. So it'd be cool if there was just like an option where you could do something else with your fate points besides summoning. I would get that.
Agree.
You can save 27 of them and get a free grand strategy.
That's why it's so offensive. You're like, I know what I'm talking about, but oh my god, is it horrible? Yeah.
That was godlike. That's totally true. But
summoning cool in the whole game. The rest of it all sucks. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I remember playing like before Seraphon got a book, I was playing like the summoning thing for Seraphon, and I just hated carrying around like 4,000 or 5,000 points in case I wanted Croxagore or in case I wanted this, that, and the other.
Never wanted Croxagore, to be fair. But...
That's true, but...
Yeah, I mean, you need 30 blues and 30 pinks, and the rest of it's optional.
Oh god, I gotta paint more pinks and blues, huh? That was like the major thing stopping me from getting into Tzeentch. I'm actually like a huge Tzeentch
Or sorry, not pinks. 30 blues and 30 brimstones. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, that's not as bad. Because then the pinks.
There's still 60 models that I didn't have to paint in my other army.
That's true.
Okay, the Games Workshop events paint judge your summons. And I'm telling you this because I have carefully wet blended 100 blues and brimstones.
Oh my god. Oh man, I hope you win because that's horrific.
That is horrific. That is crazy. Oh god. That's amazing.
That's full.
Okay. Yeah. You're gonna look like you brought like double the amount of points that you actually did
It's a really
too.
big board.
Yeah. Can I have a 4-foot board for my display
Oh, it was
board?
for Legion, so I also had 100 core of the other god.
Nice. Oh god. Awesome. Okay. Legions of Chaos. So this is like the coalition stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, blah blah. I mean,
Doesn't change.
that's not terribly
Yeah.
complicated. So yeah, I mean, and
You,
then,
you can take darkness.
yeah,
Which might be relevant in a couple months, right?
totally.
Yeah.
But
And-
like most of the stuff that were really good use cases to take, I think have fallen off. I think there's definitely use cases for the chaff from both of them, like some of the Warcry warbands and maybe like Ungor Raiders, like or Centigore. Like
Yeah.
I think there's some chaff use cases for sure.
The only problem though is that most of like the good abilities for these different units a lot of them tend to be in allegiance abilities instead of actually on their war scroll now. So it kind of
Yep.
pushes you away from it. It feels
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, I think that's why you take most of the chaff. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. Cheapest in this book is 150 points, right? For if you want like a line of 10 blues or something.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's pretty.
Yeah.
Whereas you can get 70 for some, pre-game move, whatever they are, the Warcry dudes.
Yeah,
That's
the
not-
Untamed Beasts, Iron Golems,
Yeah.
Ungor Raiders, and Centigore. Like I could see taking all those.
And everything you just named is a 2.0 book.
Damn it. Shh.
Yeah. Yeah. So they might.
Like soon to be not like an
Oh yeah, yeah.
unneeded
and then
part
it-
of your book. Yeah. We'll see. Hope I'm wrong. Slaves to Darkness.
the new books, coming
Yeah.
up soon.
So that'd be cool. Hopefully they've got some cool stuff on their war scroll. Okay, now for maybe my second favorite rule in this allegiance ability section: transform to spawn. I don't know, like it's just awesome, but the models still suck. And if you're going to an official GW tournament, then you're going to be stuck with using whatever the official model is. But
No, just convert it. They're
Yes.
amazing conversions.
yes,
Like,
you
convert
don't
it
even
to
need to.
GW.
You don't even need to. You just buy those new possessed Chaos Space Marine cultist guys or whatever.
Okay, I'm
God.
gonna be that guy. Be right back.
Cool.
Or ripping right out of their body. Yeah, those things are awesome.
Those things like look like spawn. I think.
Those are-
Yeah, I think 2 of them come on the right base size or something. So yeah, converting's another great way to do it though too. But
You could even make a spawn of every faction in the game, and have like an elf with tentacles coming out of them. Then you could have a dwarf one, and then you could just have it ready to go for whatever you're playing against. and then
oh
you have
my god, that's a sick army. That's a sick idea. And you could probably do it with your bits box. You just have to bargain with your friends. Hey, I want a bits.
Yeah.
some bits.
People are willing to give one guy out of a box of 10
Yeah.
usually.
Well, you know what you could do too? Seriously, you could just see if your friends will give you the head of a KO guy, because there's usually nice. What do we got?
So this
Sweet.
is
That's the
parts
Gore
of the
Beast.
Gorbeast Chariot Kit, extra bits of the Chaos Chariot Kit with the Troll Arm. And this is my favorite spawn. Finish off the Bloodthirster with a Gift of Change, and there's your old metal Bloodthirster head.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
cool.
Nice. Good one.
Did you name them?
Actually, their riders used to be named Timmy and Jimmy because they used to be Corn Heralds in Warhammer Fantasy Battles, and a really, really bad idea list that did not work.
Oh,
Nice.
I
This is my ancient metal GW spawn.
Whoa.
Is that
Wow.
Silo Chaos Spawn?
So it comes with all these different heads and legs, and then it just has holes in the body, and then you can kind of shove them in the head. You're supposed to be able to put 5 heads, but I missed a few of the heads, so
That's awesome. I love it.
That's cool. I have never seen that.
But to finish my idea, so I don't know if you heard Eric's idea for creating a chaos spawn for every army that you play against.
Oh, I heard it as I was pulling out the Bloodthirster.
Cool.
one.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. So
Yeah.
my idea though is what you do is you go to your friends who play 40k Tyranids, and you get all the bazillion tentacles they had from the Venom Thrope kit that they did not build because Zoanthropes are amazing and have always been amazing since the beginning of time. And you just use those, and then it just looks like a spawn. You just throw a head on top. All GW model. Yeah, thank me later.
There. We cracked it.
We cracked it.
Well,
Nailed it. Okay. Enhancements, command traits for the mortal side. I'm hearing a lot of people talk about 2 in particular.
well, one thing that is not command trait related, but I learned about it because of a command trait,
Cool.
is that the Gaunt's no longer an Arcanite hero.
Yes, that's
What's
crazy.
What's not?
The Gaunt Summoner.
Oh.
He's not immortal. He's not an Arcanite. He's a demon exclusively. which is
Does he not get
big.
the 3 units anymore either? He can just put 2 units in a pocket.
Yeah, he can put them in the tower. But it's weird because he gets the whole mortal lore, but then I guess you can pick one spell from the other lore because he's a demon.
Oh,
So he gets
interesting.
like full lore plus a spell, which is kind of cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
I learned it because I was in the app and I was trying to put Arcane Sacrifice on him and I couldn't do it.
It feels
What?
it feels possible that it was a mistake. You know what I mean?
I don't think.
Well,
I mean, both Core Scrolls don't have Arcanite or Mortal, and they do have Demon. So
okay, yeah, yeah. I love the whole idea. Actually, I guess we'll get to the Silver Tower bit later. I assume.
that's fine. It's better than the summoning thing,
Yeah, yeah.
like Mars.
That's
So
more
you're
stuff.
saying are the 2 you're thinking about are Arcane Sacrifice and Nexus of Fate?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's the one that you were telling me that you really liked, I believe.
I was telling you I liked Arcane Sacrifice.
Arcane Sacrifice.
I've heard a lot of people talk about Nexus of Fate, but I think getting
Oh.
the 9-inch for Brain.
Sorry. No, that's not the one that I brought up. Nexus of Fate.
Yeah.
And I just actually asked you a question on what you thought. Maybe I'll just go into it.
Okay, go ahead. Just go ahead.
I like beating around the bush in weird ways that make no sense. At the start, so Nexus of Fate, at the start of your hero phase, if this general is on the battlefield, you can roll a dice. If you do so, you can replace one of your destiny dice with that
Oh, that's
roll.
I was thinking of Cult. Yeah, one I've heard of a lot.
And so your question was, can you do it to a dice slot that has been used up? And I think my answer is no. And the evidence for it is just read Kairos' ability, which specifically does it to a die slot that's been used up. And they're really distinctly different wording.
It's true.
Right.
I still do think it needs an FAQ because replace can be used interchangeably in both situations. So I think that,
Yeah, I hear you. I don't see it because
I agree. Yeah.
like why would they like Kairos just literally has the same ability that
Yep.
does it the other way, and it's just really explicit.
And
Yeah.
does Kairos roll a dice?
Yeah.
And oh, I see. He just rolls a dice and then you add that to
If
your...
you don't have 9 destiny dice,
Yeah.
roll a die and
Right.
add it to your destiny die pool.
Perfect. Cool. Yeah. That makes sense, but you could also I feel like if you have Kairos and this guy, it might kind of combo okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It just range is so powerful.
Well, it's true, but that's true. But if it were me, I would probably roll 2s and 3s, and I'd just be like, why didn't I bring that stupid command trait? But yeah, okay. So that's that. I really like that. I just love Destiny dice as well, so I want to make it work. That's part of just my problem, I guess. The other one I'm hearing about is whatever the one that adds 9 inches. Arcane Sacrifice, wizards only. At the start of your hero phase, you can cause 1 more wound to a friendly Tzeentch unit within 3 inches. If you do so, until the end of that phase, add 9 inches to the range of all spells successfully cast by this general.
And I think the old version, it had to be a mortal unit, and now it's back to any Tzeentch unit, so you can start chucking wounds on your horrors again,
Yeah,
which is, I think that makes it pretty good.
I forgot about that.
that's very cool. That's a great pickup. I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about that specifically, Eric. So that seems
And just
strong.
any 18-inch spell, throwing it at 27 is just
insane.
Just really good.
Yeah, like I can't think of another spell that goes out that far other than the it doesn't even go out that far, but the Warp Seer Vermin Lord has a 26-inch range spell, but he has no natural pluses to cast, and it goes off on an 8. So yeah.
Well, and now it works on your endless spells too. It used to not. Like last time Arcane Sacrifice was actually taken, it didn't extend the range of endless spells. So now it does.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so you get a Purple Sun at like 31 inches or something. It's crazy.
What? That's wild. Okay. 31 inches? How do you do that?
14.
8. Well, it's 8
9?
and then, or 8 and then 9 and then well, it's not 6 anymore. Now it's 3. The range on the
Okay.
ability.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if you're trying to find if you're trying to put a rend on, or a -1 save on somebody.
But if you want that Grave Tide for your redundant move blocker,
yeah, you can chuck it in the middle of right in front of their big unit. Great.
Alex just asked an excellent question. Would that increase of range apply to
Hey,
Arcane
Todd.
Bolt?
sorry, what?
Alex was asking if the increase on range would apply to the ranges of Arcane Bolt, like whether you're doing 1 or D3.
I think so.
I don't see why not. It just says
Yeah.
range.
12. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Or D3 at like 6 inches so you don't have to be in combat, right?
Well, it would be 12 inches for D3,
Oh.
but I'm trying to think
Oh.
of the wording.
Oh,
on
yeah.
it.
Sorry, you're increasing it. You're not, doubling it. Duh.
Grab my GHP.
But like, I don't think you're going to be arcane bolting with him a lot because he's usually going to have multiple better nukes. Whoever has that, because I mean, you're going to have probably your War Scroll spell, and you're going to have a better nuke, and you probably won't have more than 2 casts on the wizard most of the time.
But if you're trying to like crank up your fate points, I guess maybe it's just like
Wouldn't
it's just a buff.
It says.
Oh yeah, that's true.
D3 of the caster. It doesn't say the spell.
Got it. That's an even better point. Okay. So then, what are the other command traits that we like?
There's one other command trait we're talking about, I think, which is Demon Spark, which I think is the one that you'll probably default to as a demon. If you don't have a Mortal General, you take Demon Spark, you get 3 summon points.
Oh,
it's a good way. If you're taking, potentially Guild of Summoners, it's a good way to sort of lock in that turn 1 or make it much easier.
So once per battle in your hero phase, you can say that this general will use their Demon Spark. If you do so, immediately gain 3 fate points. Yep.
And like Erik was saying about the sub-factions, none of this is new. It just all used to be locked away because you used to have sub-factions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually think this book is great stuff they took away.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
It's less limiting. There's more it's more Johnny, it's more combo-y and generally fun for anyone who likes making lists, I would say. Is there any other command traits anyone wants to talk about other than the Master of Magic? Like from the Universal thing that's super good, obviously, in Tzeentch.
I honestly think Arcane Sacrifice and Demon Spark are the only ones competing with Master of Magic.
And you can't take Arcane Sacrifice on a demon, though, right?
Correct.
Okay. That would be so good on a Lord of Change. Mwah. But, alas. Okay, cool. Fated Artifacts. Disciples of Tzeentch, Arcanite Hero only. So it doesn't apply to the Gaunt Summoner, as Erik said earlier. Anything... So Matt, actually, I guess... So I know that Erik is going to be primarily running Mortals. Like, that's more your thing, right, Erik?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm interested in playing with Tzeentch, because I'm not really trying to play it competitively, so...
That's fair.
That's...
So do you think demons are better?
I mean, not necessarily. I just think if you want to run Zangor, you're probably not going to win a whole lot of games.
True.
That's just the thing. But that's fine.
They're like the one... To me, Zangor feel like the one of the 2 huge misses in the book.
Yeah.
And in this case, you do mean underpowered, not overpowered.
Yeah. Zangor is
always bad, and they didn't used to have tools to make them better at all. And now you can use some of the spells that would probably be better used elsewhere, but you can use them on the Zangor and make them okay. So I'm into that.
That's awesome.
It was
me so
just
I can
weird
play.
to take away the bonus attack.
Yeah, and then not giving it just on the war scroll. Usually when they take that stuff away, they just incorporate it in, and so you could just get 2 attacks. But
Here's the sad one, Eric. I compared the new Zangor War Scroll to the Cool Boys Gut Rippers I just replaced with Hograts. It's basically the same War Scroll now. It's not do mortals.
it's pretty close. Yeah, but you know,
Godspeed.
we're still gonna play them. I still have an entire army of them painted that I spent ages on because they have every trinket and thing hanging off them, and it takes forever.
They're beautifully painted. Yeah.
You know, every 6 months it always changes a bit, right? Like if they were 20 points cheaper, they'd be totally solid. And you can still run a 60 or 60 wound block.
Yeah,
It's
so
just weird to me that they made them worse. That's really what it is. It's just feels like an odd choice.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're less complicated, but they're just worse.
That
But
is
it's gonna
frustrating.
get better.
It's
Yeah,
frustrating just because Zangor are such awesome models, and I feel like if they're gonna
And they don't have to give them good rules. They can save the good rules for shitty models.
yeah, I think I guess that's the argument, but I feel like it should always be the opposite. If you're gonna err on the side of making something too powerful, make it the best models so your game just looks better and everyone wants to buy them. Don't worry about don't worry about selling rat ogres. It just
But I think the artifact probably just skip because they're all weapons. Is that fair?
Okay.
Time Slip Pendant is interesting.
Okay.
I think that there's a reasonable use case if you take a second artifact to take Time Slip Pendant on an Ogroid.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the one place you put it, and then you give him Infusion Arcanum or whatever, and he pumps himself up, and
Yeah, it's not great, but that's a. I did that back in second ed, and
yeah, I used to run that too, actually. Yeah. Yeah,
So-
it's okay. It's weird that they're all weapons in an army that doesn't have fighting characters at all, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 or 2. And then you get 12 weapons as your artifacts. It's just strange
Well,
choice.
wait, you just mean the mortal ones, right? Not the demon ones.
But even the demon ones, Warfire Blade, Blade of Fate, Pyrofane Stave, those are all weapons.
Yeah, but you have 2 really good demon ones.
Yeah, the Eternal Shroud, I guess.
What
That's
about?
funny. I wasn't gonna say that one.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I was gonna say Beacon Immutability, and
Sorry,
Night Tome.
Okay, so wait, before we go there, the Time Slip Pendant is after you've fought, you can basically just apply the strike last effect.
Your Ogroid can fight twice.
Yeah. But once is at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once at the very end, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that's the problem is he has 5 up save and they get to hit him.
And do
Or
you guys not like
Yeah.
the secret?
But better. True.
Do you guys not like the secret eater at all?
No, I don't think you generally want on-hit. I think that's what Eric was saying. You don't want on-hit effects on weapons as your artifact in your casty army.
But what about
Yeah.
on the Ogroid again?
But then he
Like
doesn't.
you don't have a huge volume. The whole reason Time Slip Pen is
that's
decent is
true.
it doubles mediocre
Yeah.
volume. It's a pretty good volume.
But even if you get 1 Destiny dice, isn't that kind of amazing?
Not the cost of your hero probably dying because your Tzeentch hero is melee.
Yeah.
Even on the Ogroid, or is he?
I don't think he's it's not useless. It's just it's really really conditional. One of the merit bearers melee weapons, so you have less than an even chance of getting this once on the Ogroid's 1 round of attacks, and he probably dies in 2 rounds of combat.
That's fair. Yep, that's a great point. You can tell I just want to make it work.
Yeah.
Curious as to so the Beacon Immutability doesn't work on shooting anymore. That's why I feel like it's not as good as it was. And so
Okay, so
are you worried about that open damage on horrors? Really?
Beacon of Immutability, add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by friendly disciples of Tzeentch demons, while that units that are wholly within 9 inches of the bearer.
I
It's
don't
not
think
bad.
it's amazing. I think it's decent on stuff like Screamers. I think it's just it's not garbage. It has a useful use
That's
case.
true. Yeah,
kind of
it's
like
not
time
nice.
split pendant, right? You're not like this is amazing, but you're like, oh, that could be useful.
I'm just always comparing everything to Arcane Tome and going,
Right.
no.
These are the things I would be excited about once Arcane Tome gets removed.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, because I was just gonna say, like, if I'm taking one artifact, it's Arcane Tome, and maybe I'm taking two, maybe.
Or say you're playing like a twos format, and Arcane Tome is unique.
Yeah.
What about the
I know that's a
9/9?
very ed use case, so I'm trying to find reasons. I'm trying to make it.
Yeah.
What about the
It's
9/9 tome?
The 9/9 tome for re-rolling. You're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Because like if you're not taking cogs.
Yeah, but you are taking cogs.
But it can be on the caster of cogs.
Ooh.
Right, but don't you just Destiny dice out cogs? Isn't that how that works?
Yeah, usually you're right.
Or
I think that,
part two, and you just make it happen.
here's the other thing. Like, it depends on your style of list, right? Like, if you're playing a castle grindy list, you're usually going to be in range of cogs. But if you're playing like a really mobile list, like, it's pretty awkward to keep moving the cogs around and keep with army. And I think that like 9/9 tome on the Lord of Change, like on the generic Lord of Change, I think that's decent.
Yeah, it's okay. For sure. And it is nice that it doesn't have to be your general and you can still get the rerolls. That's kind of nice.
And
you can still take more rolls who's chucking stuff at extra 9 inches and then make your Lord of Change
yeah.
reroll.
Well, the other thing too is like if you're facing like Seraphon who can unbind from anywhere, well, you try to throw cogs down and it's just like, well, wish you had a reroll kind of thing. I don't know. Like
Sure.
artifacts are cheaper and easier to come by than command traits. Like they just are. So
Yeah. You can get multiple artifacts.
But yeah, like Arcane Tome and then maybe something else. I love, yeah. Okay, well, so then, is there anything, sorry, I think you mentioned one other thing that you wanted to.
9/9 tome, beacon. Erik talked about Eternal Shroud.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a 5-up, you get a Destiny dice. I don't know. It's not amazing, but it's something. If you're building into having a million Destiny dice and, you're playing the thing, the grand strategy, and you're doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could fit it in.
How awesome
I just don't think any of the artifacts are all that good.
How awesome would it be if it was like roll a dice and on a 5-up, that dice becomes your Destiny dice. You're just getting a 5 or a 6. You don't need to roll it again and potentially get something stupid, right?
But here's the I think that these artifact choices are actually worth talking about because in anytime you take bounty hunters and expert anytime you go high drop, there's no mount traits, there's no prayers, there's you don't need more spell selection, and so you very often will be picking one of these as a second enhancement.
And not only that, but like it would be nice if this sort of discussion lived past the point where they start changing around the general artifacts, because they've already shown that they're willing to do that with Amulet of Destiny. They basically just said, okay, yeah, we're going to make it so you don't want to take it anymore, which is what they're probably going to do with Arcane Tome, right? Like, I think Arcane Tome might be just like, an extra spell.
Ooh, that'd be bad.
Yeah.
I think they just need to take off the thing that makes doesn't matter. Different podcast.
Fair enough.
YouTube thing.
Yeah, no, we call it a podcast. It's I don't know. But yeah, I really like the Eternal Shroud, but I'm super biased, so whatever. Is there anything we have not mentioned in this lot thus far that we want to talk about? Okay. Okay. What am I looking at here?
Spells.
Thank you. Let's just look at. I can't see the dog.
We can actually summarize really, really fast.
Perfect.
Most didn't change.
Wonderful.
Shield of Fate got better. It changed from reroll saves to a ward save.
Okay.
Weak spot is at 4 to 6 because you get the 5-up board, which is why it interacts with really powerful with the grand strategy. The demon spells really didn't change much. I think Fold Reality's casting value went up. Uncheck Mutation stayed exactly the same. The biggest change is that the casting values went down very slightly, and it's a stealth change because the Lord of Change's command ability is now built into Lord of Change and Kairos for +1 to cast, and both Firestorm and both Tzeentch went down 1 to cast. And so what you actually have as a change is a significantly increased reliability of casting your main nukes. You don't have as many nukes, you don't have as many combos, but it's like less hard to just get off the base nukes from the lore because you have a more reliable casting bonus and they're slightly easier to resolve.
Yeah, and it buffs mortals now too. And it used to be
Did Karios lose his like 6 mortal wounds spell?
Yeah, it's just a generic 6 mortal wounds. It's no longer a spawn.
Okay.
But like the spell lore has basically stayed the same, except Shield of Fate got way better, and stuff got a little easier.
So the change to Shield of Fate was that it didn't used to interact with the Destiny dice? Is that what the...
No, it used to be rerolls to save.
Which
was super great on Army, where everything was on like a 5+.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, like that is a lot better. And sorry, I can't read the whole thing. That if you have 7 to 9 Destiny dice, that unit has a ward save of 5+. In addition, each time that unit is affected by a spell. Oh, I see. It's got a 4-up ignore for spells.
Yeah.
Got it.
Alex was asking if they plus to cast stack for multiple birds. I believe they do. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Oh, do they have the thing is the same as the Web Spinner Shaman, where if you're in range of the Web Spinner Shaman, you get +1?
It says this and not a unit with this ability, so I think it does stack.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But don't say in range of any unit with this ability, and this doesn't say that.
I imagine the writer was like, you know what? You want to get 3 birds? It's 1,200 points. Have fun.
Yeah.
You have your +3 to cast.
Have you seen the battalion that we get in this book? Yeah.
Pretty good.
For fun like games only.
Which is good for Guild of Summoners, right? Because then you actually legitimately will get 2.
But the battalion, I thought battalions were picked.
No, not for the battalion. I'm just saying
okay.
the +1.
Got it. Oh yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Cool. Okay, so that kind of covers. I mean, were we talking about the demon spells at the same time? There is that like same page.
Okay, that was it.
Okay, now the different, what do you call them? Enclaves, host.
Yeah, didn't we already talk about those? They're the same.
Oh yeah, they're the same, but they don't have artifacts or anything attached to them.
Or a trait and artifact, which makes it definitely better.
Yeah, no artifact text.
So we won't go over them, but like, do you guys have any particular one that you're definitely leaning toward at the start, at least?
No, I want to try them all.
Nice. There's a good.
I'll try everything but transformation, and I'll try the acolyte one when they finally go down to the price they should be, which is back to 100.
Yeah.
Cool.
I want to acolytes actually. I only have 10, and I think I want to buy some more.
Nice.
I have so many acolytes, and they're like such a high percent of all the freehand I've ever done, and they're all just still in the shop.
They've come into like every Battle Force box, like everything they've ever made along those lines. So, yeah, and in the Silver Tower board game, which I still have. Okay, so that's basically it. We're on to the War Scrolls. We won't go through them all, even though there aren't that many.
Well, I mean, the main thing about the War Scrolls is everything's gone up in armor save. Pretty much everything.
Oh,
so we got 5 into a 4s.
Most of the mounted stuff. It's everything on a disc, everything that's flying, and then the Enlightened on foot.
So Lord of Change was a 4-up before, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically everything on a disc gained a pip for the most part, and then for some reason Enlightened on foot.
Yeah.
Huh.
So they're supposed to be an elite melee unit, and they're like, we can't have a guy with 5-up saves.
Yeah, but the Enlightened on disc don't have a different save for being on a disc.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. They're
fine, I'll take it.
It's a lore reason in case the disc gets hit and not the rider or something silly.
And the Enlightened and the Ogroid went up, which is actually really cool because he didn't go up in points. He didn't change it any other way. He just gained save.
Yeah. Almost none of the points changed, really, except for Zangor went down a tiny bit.
Okay.
So do you want to do like highs and lows for the units? Is that
yes, that would be lovely. Yes, yeah, please. I don't
My
want
lows are
Okay, lows. Yeah.
lows are always easier because Warhammer players like to complain. Um, Blue scribes because that new ability drives me like I'm just like very awkward.
Now, what are you referring to? Can you just explain what you're referring to?
Sorry. Blue scribes now frantic scribbling is okay, they lost their War Scroll spell that gave a reroll bubble of 18 inches. And now when enemy units cast within 9 of your squishy tiny demon flyer that's definitely alive while within 9 of enemies, on a 3+ you receive a fate point.
Oh.
It still has it still has the 2+ that can't be unbound. So it's like it'll still get some play, but like it got significantly worse. And there's a weird conversation. Apparently, some people have always played you got a fate point when you use Scrolls of Sorcery. I've always played you do not get a fate point because you didn't make one.
Yeah, I agree. You don't get one.
So that's my losses. What about you, Eric?
My low is the changeling. They just keep taking more away. It's just like one thing after another.
Yeah.
Or another. And now I don't even know what he's supposed to do. Like,
what'd they take away from him?
What was the last thing they took away? The knowing spells of the enemy. Oh. Yeah, so he doesn't know the spell. So now all he does is he's a double caster, but on the first turn you can't cast spells with him now because you have to take them off and then put them on at the end of the movement phase. So he doesn't get to cast spells. Right? What's that?
You don't have to.
You don't have to, but like, if you want him to do anything, just be like a guy. That doesn't have a spell. So that's the other thing is he doesn't have a spell. And then if he's within 9, he makes a unit -1 or half their move and -1 to hit. But then he's dead. So I don't really understand what he's supposed to do. Like he's a double caster, but then you can't cast with him if you do his other thing. And if you do his other thing, he's going to make one unit go a half move once and then die. And he's 160 points. I just don't understand what he's supposed to do because he had so many cool, neat abilities, and then they're just like, nope, we don't want people putting in the spells on the other side of the board, so forget it. You can't do that. It's too complicated with all the knowing other people's spells. You can't do that. And then, people are teleporting him and then casting spells. We can't. Well, let's make it in the movement phase, and they just keep taking stuff away from him, and now he doesn't do anything.
And was he the guy in AOS 1 that could become Archaon or like any unit in the game or something?
Oh yeah. I used to get their profile when he attacked.
Yeah.
That anymore.
That was so crazy.
He used to do like 6-7 things that were all fun and cool, and now he doesn't do any of those things. And I don't understand why he even exists anymore.
And he's awesome
one of the coolest models in the whole book.
Yeah. He's absolutely gorgeous and very cool.
Yeah, my big boss is the Changeling.
Okay. I'm surprised you guys didn't pick Zangor for your lows. I mean, I know you already talked about him, but...
Oh, we already talked about him.
Okay, fair enough. But so they're in there, but...
And I think if you go paired blades, and then you charge, then you got 5 attacks, and then you just pile Ren spells on somebody, and then you just do 5 attacks each on Ren 3.
That checks out.
That
checks out for sure.
And it only costs you like 1,000 points of resources to make it happen.
I love it. Okay, so what about some highs?
Yeah.
You can pick it upstairs.
Screamers, the cool thing to notice about them is that their mortals didn't just change to a 4-up, they also happen after charges, which means you can do a passover and a charge. That's a big deal. And the other one is, we talked about them a little bit, but the Fluxmaster. That War Scroll spell is bonkers.
Yeah.
I actually happen to have it up right now. Now what's... I know I can see that he gets the once per battle reroll, but I'm assuming that's not... Oh, and then you get to add 3 if you...
That's not it. It's the spell itself.
Okay.
Is
Blue Fire.
It's 9 dice. For every 5 or 6, it's a mortal, and you get a fate point, and you get a fate point for casting it. So it's an average of 4 summon points for the cast.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Yeah. That is...
Yeah. I think that those guys are good for throwing out like a purple sun because you get the reroll to +3, and so you got a pretty good chance of throwing out those high cast and the spells.
Absolutely. And even if
They
it
sort
is
of
once per battle.
a crack at it at base, and then a crack at it with +3.
And he's rocking a 4-up save, 6 wounds, 16-inch move.
Yeah, he's up to 175 points for a single caster, so he's not cheap. But
Fair.
like, I really like that War Scroll spell.
Yeah.
So I think and I would say winner because in the last book, I don't know if you ever saw someone pay for him.
Yeah, he's always a summon for sure.
Oh.
So it's not that he became broken; it's that he like became useful.
Yeah.
Came out of the obscurity of many useless demon characters.
So, and can you summon him now?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can't chain summon anymore. It used to be that the 2 heralds were the same price, and late in the game, it often made sense to summon the Disc Herald and then use him to summon a unit of blues, especially when blues like had their own summon point pool. So you would see them pretty commonly like to chain summon using the separate different horror pools to like get an objective like 30 inches away.
Yeah.
But you never actually paid for him, and now he's actually worth having as part of your list.
That's awesome. I really like anything that's got that fast a move. Like you compare him to the Changeling, he's got a 5-inch move and a 5-up save.
Yeah. Discs of Tzeentch are awesome. 16-inch fly is awesome.
Amazing, yeah. Especially for a game where movement is so important to the most of the strategy you're thinking. But yeah, so okay. Any other winners?
I want to call out Skyfires because they're a
Cool.
shooting unit,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
I'm into that. So they were always like a melee unit for some reason. They got all these rerolls in combat, even though they have a bow and they're supposed to be flying shooty guys, and that's not what anyone used them for because they weren't good at shooting. They were good at combat, and then the guys that were supposed to be good at combat were not good at combat until they got beat up first, and so I just don't get how that was supposed to be. And now they actually have a role. Like you can go and shoot characters, and they cut through Lookout Sir, and they cut through Finest Hour, and they actually have like kind of a role, because you can't get positives to save and ignore minuses to hit. So you look through Lookout Sir, you look through Finest Hour, and you can actually shoot heroes with your Skyfires again.
And again, on a 16-inch move.
They're not like I don't think they're good or anything, but
Fair.
I think that they do a role.
They do a
that
role.
Looks like with the bow. Disc might do like hunting down heroes.
For sure.
And you're saying that they more accurately do like what the War Scroll looks like they should do.
Yeah, like they just feel like that's what that unit should do, and it kind of can do it now. It has tools to go hunt heroes and fly around and try to find them and shoot them.
It just bugs me they're not 2 shots.
I know, especially with Gossamet Archers being 2 shots, they should be 2 shots.
Yeah. But to be fair, they do have, a 40-inch range on their attacks or something like that?
Yeah, they do have a longer range, but I'd take shorter range and more attacks, personally.
Yeah.
But
that's fair. How fast are Gossamet Archers?
Do something that makes sense. I don't know. I just like that about
that makes sense.
You guys, for your losers, you didn't bring up what's his name? The guy who came in the box set. I can't remember his name.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes. Now.
Do you mean wait? What do you? The Curseling? Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Who got bad rules briefly, and then he got his good rules back, which was kind of cool.
So, but I did notice that Magic Touched. If the first casting attempt made by this unit in your hero phase is successful, the spell is not unbound. This unit can attempt another cast. If it does, and the casting roll for that roll extra spell is a double, meaning 1 in 17% chance roughly, the casting attempt automatically fails. This unit is slain.
Yeah, so that's on all the Magic Stars.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. Are you looking at Are you talking about the Underworlds guy?
No, he's the guy. He came in. There was a Tzeentch dual box that came out with KO 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah, the Magic Star on disc. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, that's what you're saying, Eric.
Yeah.
I think that guy's great. I don't think that's a loser.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. But even
the first was weird how he went to bad rules and then back to good rules.
But
I don't really think it works. But
doesn't he have an ability there where it's just okay, I'm unless I'm really desperate for something, I'm never going to use this because.
Okay, well, so there's a couple things there.
Yeah.
One, the incarnate combo that came up earlier requires the use of that ability. Like you purposely double it with fate dice, in order to kill him. It's unclear that works anymore because it doesn't kill him; it turns him into a spawn.
Okay.
Which is like its own weirdness, but he's good not because of the magic touch ability, but because he makes spawn. Kairos is gone. He's your caster that has a War Scroll spell that makes spawn. It is worse, but it's the only way to make spawn.
But why do you want to make spawn?
For tagging units, so you can stop them moving and just generally.
So bow snakes, you just tag in on the side.
Yeah.
And generally, when you're when you take that second cast, you're either using fate dice to not double it, or you're doing it when you have a reroll and like you're only rerolling the double. So like if I have a second cast with him, and I have cogs up, I'll use it, and then if I fail on a non-double, I'll take the fail. But like rerolling the double is like 17% conditional, and so I'll often risk that with a reroll to protect myself.
That's fair. I like it. Okay.
But mainly his War Scroll spell is really powerful. And that's actually what I think you see on a lot of these Tzeentch casters is they're really expensive for their raw stat line, but they tend to have very powerful War Scroll spells. And it's kind of an underwhelming lores for the most part, but the War Scroll spells of the models are really, really good.
Huh.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good lore spell, but I guess I'm comparing it to certain other things.
Well, it's just damage, but I don't think the power is in the damage. The power is in like
fair.
the effects.
And I did overlook his War Scroll spell for sure. Transformed into a spawn is really awesome. So
I have a draft that literally has like a disc one and a non-disc one.
Okay.
Redundancy of that spell.
Wow. And why were you taking the non-disc one? Just for
He's
the
120 points.
Yeah, fair. Okay. Yeah.
Cheapest cast book, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
That's fair. I was looking at it from the perspective of like the Gray Seer thing used to be like a roughly a 9% chance to just have the guy go poof.
Yeah, I think more often than not you just don't use that.
Yeah, well they changed that though, so now it's you take D3 mortal wounds instead of just dying. So it's like, okay, now I can justify it, especially when it's not giving me pluses to cast, in conjunction with the 3d6, pick the 2, whatever you want. But with this guy, it was like, well, this is a higher % chance of this happening. But you guys made excellent points, so you convinced me. Okay, are there any other cool, really good models that you want to?
I mean,
Kairos is
Kairos pretty good.
He's still good.
He's still really good. How many points is he?
435.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They make him way worse outside of Tzeentch. They tied his abilities to the faction in a way that he wasn't before. And so it's part of their conspiracy to kill Legion of the First Prince.
I think they're doing that across the board, though. Like, they just don't seem to want people to mix armies anymore. Which is so strange if you think about like how Age of Sigmar started. It was all about that. Like there were no armies or army books. It was just like just take anything in this section.
Yeah, or rules at all.
Yeah, rules. Yeah. Well, there was 5 pages, but then the FAQ needed to explain those pages were like 30 pages or something.
But it was all wounds based. Flamers were the best unit in the game.
Wow. Yeah.
But think about Kairos is. People are really down about losing the Kairos die and losing the Spawn Summon.
Okay.
And both of those are a huge deal because they were 2 of the most interesting, unique control elements in the game.
Yep.
But you got Destiny Dice back, which is fine.
Yep.
You got 2 extra wounds, which is, I think, actually extremely valuable. And you got the +1 casting bubble, and like I was saying when we went through the spell lore, the change is the generic spells got 1 easier. And so if you think about like Kairos used to be to just cast Bolt of Change, it was like, all right, I don't have my reroll up, I'm going to look for a 4, I need to die. So 75% chance success. Well, between a +1 casting bubble and a -1 to the cast target, it's now a 3, I need to die, which is a much better chance, right? It's like a 90%. Like my error rate is like a third of what it was.
Huh. Yeah.
And it's not, and I'm not paying anything differently for that. It's just a more reliable caster because of the plus bubble and the lower spell thresholds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he got Spell Thief, which is sweet.
And he got what?
Right, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Spell Thief.
Spell
Where you
Thief?
Take the enemy and the spell, and now that's mine.
Oh, thief. Sorry. I thought it was some kind of foot fetish thing. I misheard
No.
you.
Spell Thief? No.
Spell Thief, yeah. It's just like, I think I've come to the wrong place. And he's an awesome model, but yes.
I like that he functions as a slightly upgraded Lord of Change.
Yeah.
Like, it does a lot of the same things. He just has an extra cast and a couple extra wounds and gets you a Fate dice. Cool.
And he's in a
because
better
of
place in the meta. Sorry, go ahead.
And I was just saying, because the artifacts and traits aren't that amazing anyway, then you're not really missing out a whole lot.
Totally.
You know, for
Yeah.
demons.
I mean,
Like, they're okay. I don't think that's a opportunity cost to take Kairos.
yeah. But also he's adding like okay, I know I just love Destiny Dice the mechanic, but isn't it a really strong mechanic? Like anytime where you get to pick your role, like automatically make charges, automatically cast spells, like that's
Yeah.
that's just such a strong mechanic, and he's just adding to your pool of awesomeness. And also, like, if he's adding to it, then you don't have to worry about using them as much if that's what you picked as your grand strategy, which seems likely.
He is, and that's right. And I think that the downside of that ability is, unless you're able to do it turn 1 because you somehow needed to dispel or something.
Yeah.
It's happening. It's the same thing as like people are like, all right, you summon Lord Change is super powerful, but the issue is the hero phase has already happened when you summon him, and so it's only 4 turns of activity, even if you summon him turn 1. If you summon him turn 2, it's 3 turns of activity. The Destiny Dice replacement Kairos sort of has the same thing, where like, are you really going to have ones left to spend paired with it at turn 5, and you're probably not going to get it at turn 1, and so it's sort of a like, it's not 5 dice. It's probably more like 3, really.
Yeah.
It's still good, but like I think it's easy to like overmath how much value there is there.
I can see that for sure. I feel like, you know, it would be tempting to use them as opposed to rolling when they're even like even if it's something like, okay, I'm rolling to attack in the melee combat phase, you know what I mean, with the Lord of Change himself. You just be like, well, you know.
Okay, so I went to a GT and I
Yeah.
had someone use the Changeling, second
Yeah.
edition book, right?
Okay.
And I was playing Legion. Why was I playing Legion right now? That's not the point. And we both had Kairos, and he teleported the Changeling to try to take out my Contorted Epitome.
Okay.
And he used his Destiny Dice to hit and wound with all the attacks because the Contorted Epitome has such a bad save. And then he was going to Destiny Dice to do 9 damage. And I made my armor saves, and he Kairos died one of them to a fail, and I Kairos died one of the fails to a success, so only 2 of them went through. Just like all the stuff we've been talking about. Like, yep, there's funny ways to do it.
There is, yeah. That sounds like really fun, very Tzeentch, very, you know, thematic in every way. Awesome.
I took 30 Zangor to LVO the year that the book came out, the very first book. And I was playing against Kairos, and then the guy Destiny Dice the terrain dice to the one where I couldn't move. And so he has Archeon and Kairos, and Archeon is just standing there in front of my 30 Zangor, who in that time they get like 7 attacks each or some crazy number because he just kept adding every time you got 9, and I had a 30 block. And then he turns the thing or sets the die that you're supposed to roll for the you can't move, whichever one it was, damned or whatever. And the entire 30 block doesn't move. Archeon lives. Wow. I lose again, and I lost the game by like 2 points. It's brutal.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That is.
Yeah, that was the most like brutal I ever took the Kairos dice change to the face.
And then
I think I used it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then that day you went out and bought Kairos, like as a joke. I know that's not true because I know when you bought Kairos, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think I usually used it to stop charge rolls. I think that's one of my concerns with the book is like it lost some pretty unique control tools, and I'm having a hard time figuring out how good the rest of the stuff around it is, knowing that the control tools they usually had won't be there.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
I mean, I guess now though with Unleash Hell, there's some tools there for absorbing charges better, perhaps.
Yeah, there's nothing in this book that's going to use Unleash Hell.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
Horror,
Okay.
yeah, because it's -1. Horror's on a 5 base.
The Demon Codex just came out for 40K, and I'm just going like man, in that book, like the Flamers are so good.
I'm looking up. Mason's talking about the Curseling. I got to reread him. I feel like I read him in the FOMO box and was so deeply wounded by that box that when he got better, I didn't bother to read it again.
Yeah, I don't understand why they did that. Like, why did he get worse for like a month and then go back to being fine again? I don't really get.
I think it was an attempt at a rule simplification, because if you look at the other rules in the FOMO box, like they had Acolytes lose, like they just got Red 1 naturally, but they lost their cast and they got it back. Like I think it was just about trying to make stuff easier for new players.
Right, so you could play that.
Sorry. So they made him briefly bad, but now he's good to being good again. He's back to being good again.
I don't know if he's good. I mean, he's totally fine.
Okay.
He's a double caster now. Only a single caster, which was the big thing.
Okay.
But now.
But he's sort of a triple caster.
Yeah, kind of.
That's a good point. He's sort of a triple caster. I think Mason, he's not bad. I think the main reason I haven't thought about him in a big way is because I didn't buy the FOMO box.
Do it.
Yeah. I'm just playing my old. Looks too close to the old one, where I was like, well, I have one of these painted, so. That.
Well, and the Curseling, is it on the same base, the new one and the old one?
Yeah, he's almost exactly the same. Like the model's almost the same.
So you could just use the old one.
Yeah, like I plan using the old one.
Okay.
And he's not unique. Like he sounds unique, but he's not unique.
Yeah.
It is a curse.
Yeah. They shouldn't be using because that makes sense.
Well, he used to be unique.
Yeah.
He was a named character before.
He was a named character in Warhammer.
It's like the old Spirit of Dirthu thing where everyone thinks he's like a singular thing, but he's actually not.
Right.
I see.
I should look at him again. I should get that half of the FOMO box or something. He's a cool model. And the triple caster is pretty cool. And
so because the top is cut off, as you guys can maybe see on the stream here. Is he still called the Curseling?
No, it's just Curse.
Okay. Withdrawn, Your Honor. All my complaints. Yeah.
Well, you also have cut off there as he has a 3-up base, which is nice. In Tzeentch.
Ooh, yeah. Heck yeah.
And rerolling Unbinding is really good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, you're right. He's good. I keep wanting to do fast lists right now, but once we go back to needing I think he'll compete with the Magistar for castle builds for your mortal wizards.
Castle builds, and because they can cast spells really well.
Just because he's a slow foot hero.
Okay, I see. And a good save. Yeah, that makes sense. Although the Magister isn't a very good save, obviously. 5-up.
No, I just mean because he's a slow foot hero.
Cool. Yeah.
The issue with him is if you take Arcane Sacrifice on him, you're not getting the spawn spell for the Magister, which is just maybe it's a crutch that I'm too dependent on.
I mean,
it's pretty good. And the Magister spawn can fall victim to that, pulling a guy in the middle of your blob.
Yeah, but at least you get to pick the target, though. So you get to target the unit, not the model.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You don't target the blob.
Yeah, that's true.
Huh.
But
yeah, a Curseling's a good alternate arcade stack general for sure.
And he's got he has a somewhat decent shooting attack. It's there. It can help you pick off stuff that you already tried to magic down to size. With the Arcane Tome, he can do BT, 160 points, 3+ save, cast to steal new spells. Yeah, those are good points. Absolutely.
I like that there's too many small. It feels like it's almost like the Soul Light book. Like one of my favorite parts of this book, besides the endless spells, is there's too many small, interesting utility casters for me to take all the ones I want to. It's like not obvious which utility casters to take. It's like the name characters in Grave Lords, where there's like way too many name characters to pick what to get all the ones you want.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd feel that way in Grave Lords for sure. I want everything in there. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we've covered everything. Is there anything that we're missing? Wait, I thought we talked about the sigil. Did we not end up talking about that?
No, it's just painting it.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure. I couldn't remember. Like, I don't remember. I remember we liked it, and there was ambiguity, but I did not remember.
I think it's my favorite part of the new book because it used to be I used to not like it a lot, and I'm really glad they did something cool with it.
Yeah. We should. And that the Gaunt Summoner just doesn't get 5 pink horrors and costs the same points.
Yeah, that guy's like in the weird camp, right? Like I don't like him, but a lot of people do because of you can deep strike with him.
Well, I think the one is basically worthless, but I think the disc one has some play where you can run up and dump some guys out and chuck them in.
And when you say some guys, you mean 20 blocks to horrors?
Well, yeah, or maybe you put Enlightened in. You put 12 Enlightened in. You just
not pay for their discs.
Yeah, and just pay for him instead of the discs, and then just go check.
I think my issue with him is like if you build a list that cares about his ability enough to make him worth it, in matches where your opponent can shoot him off, you all of a sudden have a really awkward list.
Yeah, or you have to go first and like tether to a unit or something, and
yeah, I mean, you can always not put them in, and so they're like, well, I just don't put them in those matchups. But then you've built your list with significant units you wanted to put in that don't go in.
That's a good point. It's too bad because I mean,
I'm going to use him in my fun Zangor list because he delivers some Enlightened in a cool way, so I'm going to take him. But I don't think that Gaunt Summoners are going to show up in a lot of competitive lists anymore, just because the points are expensive. But then it's weird because then you look at I look at this Warsong Revenant, and he's really, really expensive to be a double caster.
Yeah.
And pretty in line with the Gaunt Summoner.
How many points is the Gaunt Summoner?
275 on disc and 230 not on disc.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's bad, to be honest. I just think he's weird and I don't like him. But I think you actually may see him in competitive lists because he has some unique and interesting abilities that people will try to get stuff out of.
Yeah.
And
well, the other thing too is like you're paying 150 points for a Soul Scryer just to deliver a unit. There's no more plus to cast. He doesn't have any, no more plus to charges. Like his points went up just for being able to deliver in the new book.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
What's that, Eric?
Oh, just saying with Destiny Dice, you can make the charge happen, so it does work. There are ways to make it work.
Yeah, like it's way better, and he's a double caster.
Except he used to come with a free unit.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh.
And then he kind of points.
He used to bring his own unit. He was the same point total when he did that.
Yeah, that's the pay for the unit that goes in there, and so he just got objectively work pay. Unless you're going to put something like Combat-y in there.
But it's true, but
I can think of that makes it anything different than what he used to do.
But it's true, but like the Soul Scryer is the same thing. He went from 130 points to 150 points. He used to be able to get +3 to a charge, and now he doesn't have that, and he's just 20 points more.
Yeah, I think that they're just different relative valuing sort of like bringing stuff in.
I think that they are, excuse me, they are trying to up the points for things that just bring things in, and it just happens. Like they're sort of upping the points for a lot of shooting units. They're trying to kind of de-incentivize certain things.
Yeah, it's not just about being a double caster anymore either. It used to be double casters cost more, and
that's true.
About what can you do with that unit and what other things can you pile on him.
And that's the one thing that bugs me about this book. Actually, sorry, go ahead. I interrupted.
Oh no, go ahead. That's fine.
I do wish they had made Lord Change 3 casts.
Yeah, I kind of do too, because that's what makes me think the Kairos is just better because he gets the extra cast for 35 points.
I cannot believe that they're not. I didn't even ask. I just assumed they were 3 casts.
Yeah.
No. It's the same power caster as a Keeper of Secrets.
Yeah, Also-
blown.
Also, model. Well, great model, but not very good unit.
Yeah.
Although doesn't the keeper see 480 points? I think they are.
No, they're 400. It's just it was a weird choice. I agree. Like if they were 3, it would be a really, really interesting choice between Lord of Change and Kairos.
That's sort of what they do. Yeah.
But I just sort of feel like Kairos is just better in every way because he hits all the main points and then gets some extra, and you probably don't need to give him an artifact anyway.
Dale's internet failed, FYI, everyone.
So Alex is saying fly 1 and drop 20 or 30 pinks. Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see people do that. I think the issue with it isn't that it's not good; it's that it will have some really, really bad matchups, and so it's just a very pairings dependent use case.
You mean like the bad matchups like KO or something like that, where they can pick them off fairly reliably?
Anyone who can reliably kill like a 6-1 flying wizard.
Yeah. Peladons, like,
Well, the other thing too.
For example.
Hey, Awas Coach. Thanks for coming. We've regularly recommended your stuff here on Saga of Dice, very regularly. Huge fans from the beginning.
Here, hang on, I got it written down. Saga of Dice.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh man, I'm such a potato head again for 2 weeks in a row. So embarrassing.
Yeah, you're right, Alex, that you could give him that artifact for +1 to for a 3rd cast, but then like, why are you not just taking Kairos? Because the advantage of the generic Lord of Change is that you have the artifact slot and you have the command slot, but the Demon Commands trait doesn't care when it's on. It can be on any of them because it's just going to be 3 fate points. And so usually, like it used to be that the flexibility of the old Lord of Change is you could give him like a defensive artifact, which is a huge deal. So now it's like you can make him just less Kairos.
Huh. But like, wait, is Kairos a 3-caster and the regular?
Kairos is a 3-caster.
Okay. I didn't put that. Okay, that makes more sense.
Different.
But it used to be like, all right, well, I'm going to take -1 to hit on my Lord of Change. And you can actually still do that. And that's a reason to take a Lord of Change is you're like, I need a defensive. If you were in a heavier shooting meta, it might make more sense because you might need the defensive artifact.
The -1 to hit is a command trait?
No, it's artifact.
Artifact. Okay, I couldn't.
I think. Could be
wrong.
It's
a trait.
Trait.
Okay, that's what
I. But you can take it, right? Okay, so you could take so you could take the -1 to hit command trait, and you could take an Arcane Tome, and then you could have a more durable Kairos that doesn't give you Destiny Dice back, and it uses up your artifact slot in your command trait slot.
Or you could, soft shell taco it and just bring both.
Incorporated form is changed. It's not -1 to hit anymore. It's 5-up ignore spells, so there is no -1 to hit.
I thought I saw one.
Is in the Arcanite one now, and it's you can't
really?
actually.
Oh right, yes. Sorry, I have it right here. Disciples of Tzeentch, Arcanite hero only.
Even less reason to take a normal Lord of Change.
So there's no defensive buff you can take on him at all,
except for that 5-up ignore spells, which I don't know why you would want that. That's not very good.
Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah. AOS Coach says regenerating Destiny Dice on Kairos is too good along with 3 casting. Not a lot of good reasons to take Lord of Change with Tome. Yeah.
I think that's where we're at. Yeah.
Wow.
And he's barely. So.
I think, but it's funny. I finally bought a regular Lord of Change because of the book, because all of my other non-Kairos Lords of Chains are like probably not tournament legal and for Guild of Summoners. And if I want to go to a GW event, now that they're having them, I want to have like official Lords of Change. I've got one that's like a GW conversion and the one that's not. And you want to be able to summon 2, right?
It's true. Do you go Rod on both?
Yeah, I've never not picked the Rod. Maybe on the second one you should go with the melee thing.
That's what I'm thinking. Is you take the second one and he charges somebody on turn 4 with his big sword.
Yeah.
That just sounds fun to me.
So you guys are talking about the loadout on your Lord of Change?
Yeah.
Cool.
The default is you just take 2d6 shots on 3 3s, 1 damage 1, but there is a melee loadout.
Yeah.
And if you're talking, and so Eric's saying, like, if you're bombing them late in the game, you're not going to get that many shooting phases anyway. You might as well be putting them in. This is your like bonus, your 18 fate point load to change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So you if you're taking that host, then you summon one for 9, and then you're trying to get to 18 to summon another one.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's usually.
Oh, that's dope. So you're getting 2 Lords of Change for 3 less fate points than you would normally get 1.
Yeah, and then that's just all you're summoning. But it's good.
Or
pretty
you
good.
can save the 7 and get that.
Or what?
Extra. Or you can save the 27 and get that strat. That would actually be a boss move, to take Guild of Summoners and that grand strategy where you have to get the ultimate boss move.
Just play Cruel Boys.
Just play Cruel Boys? Yeah, just end it and play Cruel Boys or Gits. Yeah.
Totally.
Oh,
Somebody should do that for. You should
like-
be allowed to play the book at Kippers if you take those 2 things in combination. I think that's
Yeah.
I'll write an email.
that sounds good. I support it.
Yeah. Erik is the guy who took his dragon and just put it on the line in every game of a tournament and just said, and I just told them ahead of time, this is what I'm going to do.
I paid stacked and I put my Star Drake down in the center on the line every game for 5 games.
Yeah.
It was great.
Including when he was in range of Hand of Dust. So, yeah. That's just the kind of...
Yeah. I looked at the guy's list and I didn't see the spell portal in it. And I was like, great, this guy doesn't have spell portal. I can do my move. I put it down and he's like, he's got Nagash down, and I put it right across from Nagash. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm doing this thing. I'm putting it down on the line every game. He's like, all right. And then top of one, he's like, okay, I'm going to go first. I'm going to cast the spell portal. And then I'm like frantically pull up my phone, look at his list. Oh my God, he does have the spell portal. And then he's like, then I'm just going to hand to dust you. And you're dead. It's like top of one, my dragon's gone.
Yeah.
Game 4 of the tournament. It was brutal.
Was this like a stealth handicap? Was that the...
Yeah, I was playing the dragon with the reflective
dragon.
Mortal wounds every time you attack him. And so I just wanted somebody to attack him, so I put him down in the middle. And it worked every other time. It was great. Like a pack of ghouls would go in, and they would kill themselves on their own turn. It was pretty good.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it didn't
your
work
new
out.
plan is much better. Your new plan is much better. Summoners Guild.
Yeah, my plan.
This is your plan. This is to win the best sportsmanship for like two tournaments in a row. You just say, if I do this, will you give me?
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Yep. Ponderance of Fate. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Guild of some Ponderance of Fate. It's boss move.
I mean, if someone did that, like even if they ended up tooling you, like you cannot be mad, right?
It's true.
I feel like it becomes impossible. Yeah. Alex says it was one of those jokes you challenge your friend to do in the car on the way to the event.
Yeah, someone did that to me with Cruel Boys. The joke of play Cruel Boys.
Yeah. On the way to the event? You're like, damn.
That would be rough.
The joke's on you. You already took them, right?
I haven't locked it yet. I can still back out.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I have like 3 days to rethink this as a life plan.
Is this it?
Yeah.
Which event are you talking about? The
Kippers.
Oh, Kippers. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were coming up for Kippers or if you were talking about the Masters.
I'm coming up. No, for Masters, I'm hoping that the Tzeentch will be out.
Right.
And if not, I don't know. Maybe try to borrow some of these Beastmen.
Yeah, Beastmen are good, man. Yeah, we might know some people.
Yeah, MetaWatch says they're good.
Yeah.
They're very good. I've played them on DTS a few times. They're very good.
I played, yeah, exactly. Oh man.
Ricky has painted Cruel Boys, so I'll be bringing up Ricky's paint contingent because he's probably not going to be able to make it because of work. So
Alex claims
Nice.
I don't want him to play Cruel Boys at Kippers. That's not what I said. Erik and I are on the same page, right? It's not that we don't want Cruel Boys, it's that we do want 6 Magmadroths.
True. It's just fun.
It's just, yeah. Like,
I want to fight it. I want it to happen.
exactly. I've always wanted an army of lizards. That was real life, but on the tabletop sounds cool as well. Where do you think? Sorry, Coach. DOT will slot into the meta.
Upper middle.
Upper middle.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's
Here,
Disciples of Tzeentch. I was like, damage over time. Like I could not figure it out. Yeah.
I'm gonna stick him right next to Sylvanet. That's where I'm gonna put him.
Right. What?
Right next to Sylvanet.
Yeah, I think that seems about right. I mean, I think that they're not. I don't think they're going to be at the really top, and I think that they're still a solid book. Trying to think if they have any terrible matchups. Maybe Gargant's may not have the volumes to go through Gargant's, but Gargant's book is going to change.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
it looks like they're going down in points, so maybe down in wounds.
Yeah, up in price, down in points. Good combo.
up in actual money cost. Yeah. We didn't talk about that. $260 Canadian for the new kit, and I'm assuming
is it the two megas with the?
It's like the new. It's the no. The new mega kit just comes with like an extra sprue where you can build King Broad or that other.
It's 260 for one of those.
Canadian.
Yeah, for one.
Wow.
The old one was $240, so I'm assuming in Australia it's like $840. You can tell me, Coach. I don't know if they leaked the prices down there or not, but like, wow, like Knights are like $200 for context, and they come with like every upgrade. The box is huge. Yeah.
Yeah, Giants. But it makes like 5 kits, so
It does make 5 different kits, and they are awesome. Like. The kit looks great.
Like a $40 extra hammer. It's pretty sweet.
Are there any facts we're worried about? So I was saying I think all of the facts are going to rule against Tzeentch, and they all should, with the one exception, which is that I would like them to fix that. Currently, I think Rend is modified. Destiny dice are modified by Ren, but not plus to save, and so you can have a plus save and a minus save, and you can now use a 4-up to make a save on your Lord of Change, and it won't work. And I think that should be fact for Tzeentch. So I'm kind of worried about that one. Everything else I think should go against it.
Yeah, because Ren 3, then you wouldn't even be able to Destiny dice way out of it at all.
Right. Or despite whatever save stacking you have. So it just is a weird interaction.
And
but everything else, no, I'm not worried because those things. I think are people being hopeful with how they're interpreting the ambiguities.
Wow.
And it's largely the same, I think, is the other kind of nice thing.
The what?
It's largely the same.
Yeah.
The book, which is cool, I think. Although kind of funny that each book is the one book that's like very similar.
Yeah. AOS Coach says in Australia the current Mega Gargant is $330. That is mind blasting. Like that makes no sense because the Canadian dollar and the Australian dollar are almost on par. Like it's very similar right now.
That's crazy.
What on earth?
Wow. They must ship them over there on like gold boats or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that's basically it, though. Is just like international shipping's hard. It's like stuff's expensive in Hawaii.
Well, so yeah, like I remember a lot of people used to complain about shipping within Canada, but I was like, okay, well, we have a population the size of California in a country that's larger, and like you know what I mean? Like you have to, it's per capita too. Like it's so much easier. Like I used to live in Japan and Korea. Like it's so much faster and easier there because the population is so close together, right? But yeah, Canada's the opposite. Like you have to make it so that like shipping to none of it is affordable. Like you can't make it too out of whack, and so, but
the guy. Northern Wave PT almost put a company out of business on flat rate shipping.
What?
They ordered all these mats, and then they got flat rate shipping on like 25 mat. And then the company changed it to no longer shipping to Canada. The whole country is banned from ever buying.
Oh man, where was that? That wasn't Game Mat, was it?
But
oh man, I hope actually it couldn't be Game Mat because I just got a new mat from them and my terrain showed up today, the pre-painted terrain. It isn't nearly as heavy. They made the new stuff hollow, so it's not like oppressively kill a man with a single blow heavy. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's not block of terrain. That's nice.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm probably gonna, if I have time, add a little bit more, some details here and there. I'm in the process of finishing my loon boss on Mangler Squigs. So, yeah. But nice. Oh dear. $330. I think we have to change the hashtag from Justice for Gits to Justice for Australia. That's completely bananas.
Well, I'm curious what other people think it's going to be in the meta, because I know Mason was talking about it and was saying it felt pretty mediocre sort of first time playing it.
Well, I don't know if you guys were aware or if you guys are part of, like, because I post my battle reports in every Facebook group that, like, it has to do with it. You know what I mean? Mm. I'm in every single Facebook group that I know of or I've ever posted a battle report about. And so when I was doing the Maggotkin one, when the Maggotkin dropped, they were complaining like crazy about their book. They thought it was super low tier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I remember that.
Yeah.
Every time. So I don't put stock.
I mean, everyone complains, but like certain factions tend to complain more that have had a really good, like,
elves.
Yeah, elves, like daughters, obviously, like OBR, because like when they came into it, they were so strong. So then the players get used to a certain thing. So then when their toys get taken away and they're like everyone else, it feels improportionately difficult. And I understand that, and it's natural human instinct. But like, it's funny that like, the Maggotkin is now, I think it's top of the meta, like top 1 or 2, right?
It's near the top for sure.
Yeah, it's like solid. 1 or 2, I want to say. And so, and the clear indication, and then I remember seeing some people go, hey guys, I think there might be something to this book. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at some stuff here, and like, see, people seem to be doing okay, even at the beginning in tournaments. Like, maybe this book isn't so bad, And now,
it's terrible now, and then someone will win a tournament within 2 weeks, and it'll be okay.
Exactly, and if we're not saying that about Tzeentch right now, I feel like it's probably pretty good, especially with...
Well, that's why I'm curious. Like, as you go through, as you post this stuff, what do you see in sentiment, broader sentiment-wise?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
If you said you go to all these different places to post stuff,
yeah,
and I'm curious what you were seeing around Tzeentch. Are you seeing the same kind of reactions as Nurgle, or no?
I'm seeing the normal nerd rage of when something gets taken away. Like when there's, like there's that old expression, there's nothing that, what is it? Wargamers hate the most. The thing that they hate the most is change, except for when things stay the same. So you really just can't make them happy. But like, yeah, I'm seeing complaints that like certain things are taken away, like Kairos's, 1 dice thing, and anything else that is changed. I'm seeing complaints about it, which is normal, but
not an overall power level perception.
Oh no, nothing like that. Like I haven't seen a lot of it. I have never posted a battle report in Tzeentch, so I just joined like a week ago because Erik and Rob Tons are playing a game on Thursday, I think.
Take some Zangors to tune in.
Yeah, Zangors, baby. And Arcanite's no Lord of Change in the entire list.
Nope, I'm not taking one.
So
he's taking all more. It's gonna be fun. I had Pinks in there and I took them out.
It's another power move. And
I'm actually kind of thinking about some non-Lord of Change lists because like it just frees up so many points.
That's the thing, right? I'm like, I can have 400 more points to put in fun stuff. So
yeah.
So that's my plan.
I would never not take a Lord of Change just because it's one of my favorite models in the entire range. I'd just be like, well, no, my hands are tied.
Yeah, I'm gonna try Zangor with Ren spells and put some Enlighten in the Summoner and see what happens.
Mason says it doesn't seem so much better that it's attracting hordes of players to it. We already didn't see them much. That's interesting. Oh, Dale can't reconnect his internet. Sorry, Dale. I guess you're on your phone. Yeah, that's interesting. Like, I did notice that with Skaven too. Like the first time Skaven got a book, we got this huge influx of people in the WhatsApp group, you know, and it was such an awesome group before, and then it kind of turned to like a bunch of power gamers. But then in the new book, there's no one new in the WhatsApp group at all. It's still the same group of like awesomely chill people. Shoutouts to them, by the way. They are some of the nicest people out there. Yeah.
Except the ones who joined after the new book. Screw those guys.
Actually, I don't remember anyone joining like that. The Facebook group. So I have become a moderator on the one that Rerolling Ones. Dang it, Mark Shu. That's his call sign or whatever. He created. So, and like, man, there's so many people joining. Like, I think there's been like 800 approximately since the book got announced. It's wild. Like every day, like at least 10 people. So
Nice.
yeah. So like, but that's not the WhatsApp group. The WhatsApp group are amazing. They're so nice. Like, yeah. Huge shout outs to them. So, okay. I think that's. Have we covered everything?
Yeah, points are the same.
Points
are covered.
Points are covered.
Probably the same.
Yeah, the meta. Yeah. Do you guys have any like list advice? I guess is the final thing.
Play Zangor.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yep. That's the
Winning is
move.
everything.
win with Zangor and become the Tzeentch Chad.
I don't know. I think it's. I think that I don't want to be like, oh, here's what's the good list, because I think
Yes.
we need, you know, the book is like subtly enough different that you should want to experiment with it. And like, I don't know what list I'm going to be running a month from now, because I think there's enough that they improve the internal balance on. There's some stuff they really brought up that it's not obvious to me what the net list will be, which is a good problem to have. So I think my list advice is experiment and try to match your list to how you want to play it, because there's multiple viable options.
Yep, that's great advice in general for sure. I think it rarely turns out that like the thing that people think is going to be strong is the exact right thing that's going to be strong in the end. Like maybe the one exception is the all dragons thing that got nerfed before they even released the proper models.
Oh, except Flamer Chariots, Mason. Don't do that.
I was about to ask you. Mason said, "How many Flamer Chariots can you fit? Make it fit."
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to play Chariot Spam, play something with other chariots.
Yeah, if you want to play chariots, play Stormcast.
It has to be Stormcast because that's the only good chariot in the whole game, I'm pretty sure.
I can't think of another good chariot, but I don't have any chariots.
Herald of Tzeentch or Herald of Slaanesh on Exalted Bladebringer chariot.
Scourge Runners.
Oh yeah, they're like 70 points. That's what makes them good.
Wow. Are they a troop?
Now they're 80 and they used to be 60. I think. Did they go back down to 70?
Wow.
I thought they're 70 now, but I could be wrong. I don't
Maybe.
really...
There was a point when there was like 150 for a unit of 3, and they were just like nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I think they're good.
Yeah, they're not.
Now I think they're totally solid, but they're not good enough for anyone to go buy 10 Scourge Runners.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to run so many of them. So cheap. Stormcast chariots, though. I think that's the hit meta. I think that's the sleep.
Hidden. 12 wounds with a 3-up save for 160 points.
Wow.
Yeah. It does mortal wounds on the chart. It's amazing.
And
also, they have a really special ability, which is a Stormcast Chariot can't die to a Kron Spine in one go. I've tested that a lot.
And it's
with my
just
Incarnate.
Nice. I like that.
They're not a behemoth, right?
No.
So, but you can only take them in units of 1?
Yeah.
So I guess that's the one downside is you end up increasing your drops considerably, but
Totally. Yeah, I mean they're not busted. They're just really, really solid bodies for their points.
Absolutely. Yep. Welcome, Chris Hamilton. Finally, one of the best people out there, and I'm glad to catch you live. You're up early in the UK. Mason says 1,000 points in pinks isn't bad.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. Like
it's bad for your soul.
If you play 1,000 points in pinks, clock yourself. Because if you win with 1,000 points of pinks on turn 3, you haven't won. You've just failed your opponent differently.
Yeah,
you have an hour and a half to play the game. If you have 1,000 points of pinks, you still have an hour and a half.
Yeah,
that's a solid, very solid. Yeah, I mean, I guess the recommendation for that would be then to use movement trays. Right.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, you should use movement trays with one unit of pinks, but like, they're just I have found it to be the new version of pinks really hard management to like take stuff in and out of the unit, and so you have to get like it's just like playing zombie spam. Like if you do it, it's not as bad. It's just really on you to be fast about it, and you'll often make like suboptimal micro decisions because if you don't, you'll take too long.
Yeah, and I just found like because I was doing the same thing with clan rats and stormvermin and that kind of thing in AOS 2, and it's bad for your back, first of all. And second of all, the other thing too is it's like I would charge in and I'd just be like, I don't want to take them. I don't want to pull them off their magnetized base thing. We'll just say it's less than I could actually get in. Is that okay? And everyone's like, yeah, of course that's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's
Tuskor chariots are good.
Tuskor chariots? Okay.
Tuskor chariots are reasonable summons.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Beast of Chaos thing. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's just a cheap summon.
Okay, I don't remember. I couldn't tell you what they even look like. Like, do they make a model for it that you can buy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Warhammer Fantasy model.
It's old.
Is it from like the 80s or something?
Yeah, it's quite old.
Wow.
But like it's a 3-point summon.
Yeah. And doesn't it get like a 3d6 charge or something weird? Doesn't it get some kind of charge bonus? I feel like it does.
Oh, I remember. They might have like a 4-year-old charge or something.
Yeah, something like that.
A lot of older books that still have rerollable charges that will inevitably be taken away whenever they do get a book. Yeah.
Seems the rerolls just on things that are 2 dice, which makes way more sense. And not a lot on hit rolls and stuff. Which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this didn't get hit too bad by losing rerolls, right? Because like there weren't that many rerolls.
Yeah, and they're all on like casting and stuff where they don't mind because it doesn't slow the game down that much to reroll 2 dice, but like picking through a hit roll and reroll forever.
Yeah, if you watch the battle report with Archeon against Matthias Skaven that we just put up like a couple weeks ago, it's you notice that like when you're used to not re-rolling dice all the time, and then you've got this game where even just one unit is re-rolling a bunch of dice, and then the Vanguard were also re-rolling some dice. It's just like, wow, this takes so much more time. You couldn't believe it. But
yeah,
Chris was saying,
removing
sorry.
Positive.
Oh,
I think that's a good change.
I think it's a great change. Absolutely. Yeah, and it just makes the game like it's a dice game after all. So it should be kind of volatile, and you know what I mean? Like yeah.
He's talking to like the Dark Elf Warhammer Fantasy battle player. Like I don't actually like randomness.
I actually just played Fantasy Battles on Saturday, and I could not believe how long it took. Like, it was shocking. It was shocking.
Yeah, it's pretty.
But Chris was saying he does love Zangors, but unless you take Acolytes, there isn't a good coven for them. Erik's going to try and prove you wrong. Right?
Yep.
Although I guess you have Acolytes, or Kirik Acolytes as well.
I have 10 Acolytes in the list just because they're cheap enough to fit as my third battle line.
They're coming on, next week, I guess, hopefully.
I'm trying to make an all more. So.
Yeah, that's such a cool thing. It's not as cool as taking the Coven or taking the Grand Strategy.
If losing, cool. Hear me, Mom.
Yeah. If losing in a battle report is cool. Yeah, exactly. Great Billy Madison callback. Yeah, hopefully it'll be a good game. It's going to be Tzeentch versus Stormcast. So I'm going to try and get that out if possible. I've got a really busy week coming up, but I should be able to still get it out by Monday. I'm trying to be consistent. Mason wants to play 8 Tuskors, 8 Cockatrices. This is my land. Good God, how many drops is that?
I have 3 different movement.
yeah. That's just like, okay, I've got 27 drops. Like I'm going to.
You're not going to buy 8 actual Cockatrice models because we don't want to encourage that type of thing.
Just go to the store, buy a little rooster toy, and Bob's your uncle.
Mason, stop giving away my master's list.
8 Tuskars and 8 Cockatrices. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, this is totally tangential, but in that fantasy battles list, I had slaves, Skaven slaves going up against a Tuskor, 1 unit of 30 slaves going up against a Tuskor, and 1 unit of 40 slaves going up against a Cygor, and they both made them run off the board. It was absolutely, completely insane. Like, everything that was supposed to be good was bad, and everything that was supposed to be bad was really good. But
oh, the slaves! I was like, what are you talking about?
Skaven slaves,
you're talking about your Warhammer game.
Yeah. The fantasy battles game. Like, I just played it for fun. I've got a friend who just likes Warhammer Fantasy Battles, and he's a delight to play against. But I won't badmouth. I'm not going to badmouth fantasy battles. It's where we all come from, most of us. So it's basically what he took to Matt's event, but Drogars instead of chariots.
I'll just say that about fantasy battles that it was so bad that I switched to a game where I got +1 to hit if I had a beard.
Yeah.
So that tells you what you need to know about fantasy. That everybody switched to AOS 1 where it didn't have rules, didn't have points, got like singing bricks and stuff.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think.
Switched.
I think Age of Sigmar really took off once we had points. But
true, but I'm there from the beginning because fantasy battle. That I was on. You know what? The game with the mustache rules and stuff.
I mean, I did like some of the Skaven rules in the early Age of Sigmar times, but I, to be fair, I joined after we already had rules, after the rules had just dropped for the very first time, or the points, rather.
To bring those rules back on some of the like one-off models, like Gotrek should have like a beard-based rule, you know, the incarnate stuff that rotates should have all the stuples.
In the first battle round, you can increase his movement by the length of your beard.
Perfect.
The best thing about the initial release of Age of Sigmar is I got it made me experience the product of every competing game company for a solid 6 months.
There you go. Yeah.
Not come back until the GHB.
War Machine, you're like, you know.
It tries that?
Yeah.
I
still have the box set, the Trolls versus whatever the weird scorpion elephant people are called. I don't remember. Yeah. I've still got it somewhere. But it wasn't my thing. But, well, anyway, guys, I think this has been a pretty, what's the word? It's been a long one. Yeah. Very thorough and somewhat tangential. It's a pleasure, as always, Erik. And thank you, Matt. It was nice to meet you. And, yeah, you guys are hitting on all cylinders. It's a good thing we had you, because if it was just me and Dale talking about Tzeentch, this conversation would have been very short and very uninformative. Like, it would have been all based around like the looks of the models. So yeah, this is much better. Thanks again for both of you, to both of you for coming on, and check them out. I've got their Twitter and Instagram for some great dog pics and some great Warhammer advice and information. Thanks again, gentlemen. Thanks again for Dale for coming on. Sorry you had internet problems. And thanks to everyone for watching. Dan for being so fantastically generous again. And everyone who watched and took place and chatted with us while we talked about Tzeentch. But yeah, thanks for everyone for watching. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.